try to silence the truth we shout, but we're still here, we're still calling out. Corruption hides behind a badger name. We light the fire, expose the shame. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight for every voice lost in the night. My life mattered is the cry we sing for the ones they tried to bury within. It's just us, we're a movement wide. Together we rise, won't run nor hide. The stories echo, the pain runs deep. For stolen lives we can't just weep. Elected power, but their hearts are cold. We'll bring the truth, let it be told. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight for every voice lost in the night. My life mattered is the cry we sing for the ones they tried to bury within. It's just us, we're a movement wide. Together we rise, won't run nor hide. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight. The heroes undo the harm. Calling out corruption, we'll stand tall for justice and truth, we'll risk it all. My life mattered is the cry we sing. Together we rise, let freedom ring.
On October 8th, 2023, Jason Veach, a motorcycle enthusiast, was out partying with friends for the day and had too much to drink and was witnessed at local biker bars in Volusia County, Florida, talking loudly and acting obnoxiously. He was witnessed at the Cabbage Patch first at approximately 5:30 p.m. Eastern, appearing intoxicated and talking loudly to whoever would listen. He had a beef with whoever wanted to have a beef with him, apparently. He left the Cabbage Patch and went to Sorry Charlie's bar at approximately 6 p.m. While at Sorry Charlie's, he was heard talking and yelling aggressively, just like he was doing at the Cabbage Patch. He was seen by the bartender sitting on his running motorcycle with lights on. The bartender later told a Volusia County sheriff, who was called there due to a noise complaint, that he believed that Jason was extremely intoxicated and didn't think that it was safe for Jason to be driving his motorcycle. The Volusia County Sheriff contacted Jason and spoke with him briefly and used her police officer discretion and chose not to arrest or make sure Jason didn't leave on his motorcycle. Jason proceeded to leave Sorry Charlie's and drive intoxicated back to the Cabbage Patch. At approximately 7:30 p.m., he was witnessed being verbally aggressive again with the bartender, demanding to be served, calling her the B word, and other patrons trying to get their attention. But the bartender then reported to the 911 operator that it wasn't physical. At approximately 7:40 p.m., one of the regular patrons decided it was in his best judgment to go to his vehicle and get a hatchet and bring it into the bar to scare him, quote unquote. As Jason attempted to defend himself from Hatchet Man after he swung the hatchet into the bar top and then swung the hatchet towards Jason's neck. Jason tackled Hatchet Man, and then, as reported, 6 other regular patrons held Jason down to the ground for approximately 7 minutes while Hatchet Man fled the scene. Jason was ultimately asphyxiated. No charges have been filed. The case is closed. The DA is not prosecuting. It has been alluded by Volusia County sheriffs in several meetings that Jason's wife, Kara, has been to, that the defendants would utilize the Florida stand your ground law, and they do not feel they have enough evidence to prosecute the case. Well, good evening, Social Change Warriors. Welcome back to another episode of our Social Change Warriors Wednesday night edition of the Angry Bitch Club. We are here weekly to talk about cases that involve injustice for the families and for the person that is no longer with us or the person that is missing. Tonight, we are once again joined by Kara Veach, dear wife of dearly departed Jason Veach. And we've been doing these live streams with Kara now for quite a long time, updating you on the case and what happened to Jason at the Cabbage Patch back in 2023. So again, welcome. Happy to have you all. Thank you to everyone that joins us live and contributes in our conversation area, the chat box, as YouTubers and content creators call it. We really appreciate that. It helps having your opinion. It helps keeping our conversation flowing. It helps when you ask questions. It just makes for a more interactive live stream session, because I don't like to get up here and just talk at you for an hour or 2 hours. I really enjoy your interaction, and we enjoy your comments, and we enjoy supporting you if you're family members who are joining us live. And thanks to everybody on the replay. We really appreciate it. We know that whoopsie.
Sorry, I was pulling my table closer.
You're good. You're good. We really appreciate it that you join us on the replay. We know you have a lot of choices. There's a lot of cases going on right now in this country, and we appreciate it that you take the time to check in with us once a week or whenever you do on the replay. Feel free to leave comments on the replay. We really appreciate that. And I'm happy to address any questions you have the next live after I read them the following days. So again, thanks for that. So we are Social Change Warriors. We are a nonprofit. We are technically not even a nonprofit yet. We haven't applied for 501(c) yet, but we are non-monetized as of right now. So this is a volunteer passion project of mine as a retired police officer and retired social worker. So victim advocacy has always been something that I have done in my spare time, never had as much time for it, obviously working full time and raising children. So it was very hit and miss how often I was able to contribute to victim advocacy, but I tried to when I could. And now that I'm retired, I felt that this was something that I could take on. And I'm really happy to be part of all the lives of the families that I am advocating for, and that you are helping me advocate for, because I couldn't do it alone. This is a difficult challenge when we are helping families in tragedy and in turmoil. And those of you that are willing to spend your free time advocating for them and advocating for me to advocate for them and sharing out our channel and our Twitter posts and our Facebook posts, it's really meaningful. And we thank you so, so much. We do have a Cash App now that I'll put up at the end. It's primarily only for the families when they need extra help and program costs. I'm finding that program costs can be a little bit imposing. So I would appreciate any help with those. It's not very much monthly, but it's enough to make a little bit of a difference. So we did decide to go ahead and start a Cash App for program costs only. We'll keep a budget. Anytime you want to know what they are, we'll be transparent. And if the families need our help with costs to get the police reports or making flyers or any type of cost they have to fight for justice, we will contribute to that at whatever percentage we can based on our program costs. So that's our plan. And we'll have a budget, we'll have a spreadsheet, and we'll have a part-time volunteer accountant help us with that as well, because I don't want to be involved in that any more than I have to be. So that's just our announcements tonight. Welcome back, Kara. It's really good to see you.
Long time no see, right?
Exactly. So Kara and I met just the other day, and we went over the witnesses' audios again and pulling out discrepancies and things that didn't make any sense, and lots of things going on. So Kara, I want to have you tell everybody a little bit about the meeting that you had, because you had a pretty important, substantial meeting that you went to 2 weeks ago, and we have not talked about that yet. So before we get into listening to the 911 call and kind of picking that apart tonight, which is our goal, because our other announcement is we are making a mini documentary of what happened to Jason and what happened with the police investigation and the lack of effort really to any type of charges forward on what happened to Jason, because Jason should still be alive today. He should not have lost his life at the Cabbage Patch that night. And somebody needs to have some type of accountability for that. And we're not advocating for, obviously anything that isn't within the law. We're advocating for some type of charges that are within the law and some apologies, because Kara has never received any apologies, any kind of remorse, anything from the people that overreacted to what was going on at that moment with Jason, as far as holding him on the ground for too long, which led to asphyxiation, which is manslaughter. When you contribute to someone's death because you took on an action that was not warranted or was not in your preview to do, then that there are consequences for that. However high or low they are, that depends on the DA, but there should be some type of consequence for what happened to Jason. People just don't get alived in this world, and there's no consequences for it. There's consequences to every action that we do as humans. So welcome, Sandy. Hello. Nice to see you, my sweet. Jason's mom is with us tonight. And we're always happy to support you, whatever we can do to get some form of justice, however that is going to look for you, because anything is better than what you have right now, which is absolutely zero. So something needs to be accomplished by our advocacy. And we appreciate all of you for your help and for joining us on Wednesdays for all of the victims that we're currently standing for. I believe we're at 11 right now, and that we're alternating airtime, and I'm alternating research days and we update you as often as their case has updates. We will update you, and they'll have their own live shows sometimes, and sometimes they'll share, like Michelle with Sarah Ebersol. We're still looking for Sarah Ebersol in Marion County, Florida, and Kara and Michelle have shared the space before on Wednesdays and Thursday nights, and we'll continue to do that until both their cases have justice. And then the other people that we're standing for now, the other victims of crimes, they will alternate having update nights as well on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And then remember, Fridays, we're doing trial coverage now, and Kara's been helping because this is a good hobby distraction for her, because as I've told her and all of you that have victims, you still have to find something. You have to find something you love to do. Your loved one would want that for you. You can't continue to do this every day, 24/7. You have to have a break from your advocacy and do things that are meaningful to you and that you love to do. So most of you are able to do that. Some of you need reminders that you need to do that. So Kara has now, through me, gotten involved with the Karen Reed trial and the injustice to Karen Reed and the frame job that she has been put through, that we believe is a frame job. So we are covering that with updates on Friday nights, and we're reviewing witness testimony from the first trial, and we're calling out any lies or evasive behavior, and that's called Friday Night Lies. And that's on Fridays at 8 p.m. So those are our nights, Wednesday, Thursdays, Fridays. And we're happy to have you. Please subscribe to us, like us if you can. That helps our algorithm. It helps push out the advocacy. Again, we're not monetized, so I'm not asking you to do it for any monetary reasons. Just if you subscribe to our channel and you like our channel and you put comments on the replay, that actually helps push us out into the YouTube world, where more people will hear about our victims and their families and our advocacy. So Kara, why don't you kind of tell everybody what's going on, what's been going on the last 2 weeks? What are your updates?
Well, I mean, as far as case reopened, I called multiple times to get a meeting with the state attorney, and his assistant finally told me that he's not going to ever see me again. He will never speak to me again. He'll never have a meeting with me again unless the investigator tells him that there might be something to reopen the case. So, I mean, it's pretty shitty. Like, whether you're going to reopen it or not, how dare you deny the family of the victim now that the case is closed and all the actual facts are out?
Right.
You know, because in reality, it's not stand your ground, and they know it's not stand your ground, but because he's saying it is and he closed it, there's nothing that can be done. But we're going to keep fighting that. That's going to happen for sure. I'm going to continue to push on with that. I had a meeting, I don't know, not even, I guess 2 weeks ago, maybe, with Captain Paul Kamer, Sergeant Seth Amron, and I think it's Lieutenant King. Sorry if it's not, I don't give a shit. No offense. But
Exactly.
yeah, to pretty much discuss how I felt about the investigation and where I felt that they absolutely neglected in their job, and how their mess ups actually, in fact, their crucial mess ups actually, in fact, could have helped, you know, cause Jason not to be able to come back. And we had that meeting. It went on for about an hour and 45 minutes of pretty much them, or just Seth, actually, Seth Amron. The other two didn't speak at all. Pretty much defending and deflecting anything that's that they could have done wrong. Mm-hmm. You know, I asked if it's normal for 6 people to be allowed into an active crime scene, and he said yes. It's a bar and that happens. I was like, no, it doesn't. But I'm not a cop, so therefore I don't know what I'm talking about. And I asked him about how the witnesses were allowed to sit together for 35 minutes. Is that normal? They were not only allowed to sit together for 35 minutes, but 6 people were allowed to go and sit with them for 35 minutes that weren't there, that got to talk to them about an active crime, which in reality tainted their interviews, because they all had the same thing to say about somebody that they never knew. And we went on about that. We talked about Detective Wheeler's negligence and his lack's probably not a good word, about how terrible he did the job. Sorry, that's my opinion. My opinion is that he did an absolutely awful job, about how he didn't do crucial follow-up questions. I made sure that I explained to them that, and I asked him why he didn't do the follow-up questions. And you were on the phone with me for that. When I spoke to Wheeler, I asked him, why didn't you do these follow-up questions? And his response to me was, it wouldn't have changed the outcome anyways. So therefore he didn't feel the need that he had to do that. And I told them about him blatantly lying to me throughout the whole investigation. And they pretty much deflected and had an excuse for why it was okay the whole time. So, but they're very well aware that we are aware of how bad they messed up. So it might not amount to anything, but they know that we know that they messed up. You know, I made sure that I informed them about how their responding officer handcuffed a deceased human being, refused to take the handcuffs off, and refused to start CPR, you know. And they said that's not true. And I was like, it absolutely is true. And they didn't want to believe me. Well, he started CPR. I said, no, sir, he did not. Other people did. Other people had to start CPR because he wouldn't. And, you know, they do know. So it didn't amount to anything like legally or to help us out. But Volusia County Sheriff's Department is very well aware. Yes. They're very well aware of, we know how bad of a job that they did. So,
and I'm really proud of you. I'm glad you didn't take me to that meeting, because I wouldn't have been able to restrain. I wouldn't have been helpful, because hearing them say what they said, first of all, this reminds me so much of the Karen Reed case, with the absolute ridiculous, disgusting behavior at the crime scene. There is, and we've talked about this before on Friday Night Slides and on Wednesdays and Thursdays, there is protocol. There's protocol 100%. For everything that we do as police officers, firefighters, EMS, nurses, doctors, anybody who's dealing with a person's life has protocol. And so that protocol is not rocket science, because they learn this in the police academy. You're taught this, and then you're taught this, all the in-services that you go through as a police officer. You can't just stay a police officer forever without any retraining. And the retraining is quite often. It's every 3 to 4 months. I'm trying to remember. It was quarterly. I think it was quarterly. And so it was definitely not less than quarterly. It was 3 to 4 times a year. You go through this in-service training where you retrain on what you already know, and you learn new things. And that is, everything has it. Social workers have to maintain a license. Real estate agents have to maintain a license. Teachers have to, you have to go back for, what are they called again? Continuing education credits. And so there are many professions that require this. And that is important because you don't remember everything all the time, and you need to be rebooted on something you may not have done. Police officers don't always have calls all the time. You may go a year without a specific kind of call, depending on what municipality you're in or what town or city you're in. You may go 6 months between types of calls. So the in-services help keep you trained. They help with that muscle memory. And that is what it is. So for them to not have done their job, which is secure the scene, separate the witnesses, don't let anybody come in the bar. You're not supposed, what are you doing? What are you doing? There is a person that has passed away on the floor of your bar, and you're letting people pay their tabs. You're serving alcohol.
Serving people that walked in, people that came in to see what was going on. They were still they served new people, and people pulled up while the cops were literally taping off the scene, and they just taped the truck up around them and let them go sit down. And that's in the audio interviews, in the audio. It's not stuff we're making up. This is what they did.
Kara and I are not insinuating anything. This isn't our opinion.
This is
off of interviews that we listen to, that you have been listening to with us. This is audio interviews. This is what they did not want Kara to have, which is why it took so long, obviously, for them to get it to you, because I don't think they ever thought you were going to do this. Most families, most people don't go to these links.
This is exactly what they wanted. That's why they lied the whole time and said Jason died of an illness. That's why it was a secret the whole time, because they wanted it dropped. Because if Jason just died of an illness, the family, we would just be like, oh, that's so sad. He died of an illness, and not go and request everything, because it makes sense now. And Sandy can vouch for me. When we had the meeting with State Attorney Andrew Urbanek, when he was telling us that he wasn't pressing charges, when he said that the case was closed and it was gonna be open, I told him right then and there, well, when's all the reports gonna be released? When, what do you want? I said, I want everything. And they were dumbfounded.
Sure.
Detective Wheeler and Urbanek's jaws, they could have hit the table. They were shocked that I, at that meeting, asked for every piece of evidence and report right then and there. They did not want that. And it makes sense now.
Right. And everybody that's been involved with this case knows that we are live streaming about it, as is our right to do so.
Yeah. The private investigator that I had, I had to pay him a large sum of money for him
Before
to help
we get
out.
to that, I just want to go to our conversation area, to the chat box, and say hi to everybody one more time. And people are commenting, so if they have questions for you, because what you just told us was a lot for people to absorb, and the way they treated you was, again, no different, guys, than the way they treated her when I was there with her over 2 months ago already. And they weren't overly, fond of me either, even being there, I'm sure. So like I said, that the officer didn't come right out and say, when I questioned them on a lot of this police procedure, and on the fact that they did not charge him right out of the gate, Hatchet Man, with bringing a dangerous weapon into a public place. They didn't say it, but they said it. Dorothy, you're not in Kansas anymore. This isn't Wisconsin. So they didn't say those exact words, but they said those words, right, Kara?
Yeah.
Right. Tell me you're from Florida without telling me you're from Florida. What's that game everybody plays? So I was there. I witnessed it. And I called Detective Wheeler without telling Kara I was going to do it, because I wanted to talk to him. I wanted to hear how he would be with just me, without Kara on the phone, what he would say to me, what he would and wouldn't say. Hey, yeah, we screwed up. We did this wrong. We can't go back now. We can't go back.
He's
and
a good detective.
We can't go back and separate the witness. But he didn't. They won't own up to anything they did that was wrong. And they wouldn't even own up to the very poor choice of discretion that the sheriff made, that I talked about in the intro, of her discretion to arrest Jason because he was obviously intoxicated. He was obviously behind the wheel of a motor vehicle, a motorcycle, with the lights on, and intent to drive that, and was obviously slurring his words, obviously drunk. She told him, I smell alcohol. She told him that he could possibly get in a car accident. Then what in the hell are you doing? Arrest him. It's no fun arresting people. Trust me. I never, ever liked it. I hated arresting people. Some cops get off on it. That's their male power trip, their testosterone energy for the day. Most police officers that I knew do not get off on it. They hate it too, not just female police officers, but I don't know why, but I do believe that female police officers tend to have a tad more empathy than male officers. I witnessed it, so I can tell you that for a fact. But I had plenty of male officers I worked with who were very empathetic. Most people are committing a crime for the first time, guys. They're not career criminals. They're making a really bad mistake for the very first time. And I am taking away their freedom. It's not fun to do. It's my job. It was my job, but doesn't mean I had to like it. There were other aspects of my job I loved, but that particular one where I physically had to put someone in handcuffs and take away their freedom, I hated it. So nobody loves that, but you also have to do it because that is your job. And if they're breaking a law, if they're driving drunk and they could kill themselves or kill someone else. And inevitably Jason died. And I'm sorry, but how is what happened to him different than if he had driven down the road and smashed into a tree? That would have been on that officer for not arresting him, for not using her judgment better. Or if she really didn't want to arrest him for whatever reason, she needed to stay with him until a responsible party could come and give him a ride. Yep. You do not leave someone that drunk sitting on a motorcycle ever. That's not in your discretion. That's just not. You have two choices: arrest, stay with the person till they are safely home. Take them home yourself if you so choose to do that. I took people home when I was an officer. That was in my discretion to do. So the Volusia County Sheriff's Department, from the second they made contact with Jason till the second he passed away, effed this up. And then they effed up the investigation into his death afterwards. And listening to the audio of these witnesses, you have seen how that has happened. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a mini documentary. I'm fortunate enough to have taken a class on how to make a documentary. I've already made one. Most of you have seen it. Levita, The Survival of Domestic Violence, Strangulation by a Woman. And we made that 2 years ago now, Levita and I. So I know what I'm doing, and I have a great content person, editor, who's going to help out. So we're going to put this together because this is going to show you can listen to the audio, we can talk, we can complain, we can bitch on Wednesday nights because it's the Angry Bitch Club, but we need one solid 15 minutes to show you how wrong this is and how difficult this has been for Kara and her family and Jason's parents and loved ones. And this should have never gone down this way, but it did. So now there has to be some consequences for this. There has to be. So we're working on it now. Kara was here with me, and we did a lot of work the other day. Our content creator editor is working already behind the scenes, and we'll get back to that again a little bit more in the next few days. And hopefully within the month, we'll have that for you and you'll be able to see it. And then everything you watched with us in all these live streams, you'll see in 15 minutes. And it's going to be really helpful, I believe, to Kara and Jason and their families.
I agree.
So let's say hi again to everybody that's joining us live. And thank you so much for supporting Kara and Jason. And thank you for supporting all of our other victims and their families when we live on with them on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And again, Sandy, welcome again, as always. So incredibly sorry for your loss. This should not have happened. And I wish to God, like I always say to Kara, I'm so happy I met you all. I'm so grateful that I know Kara. She's become a dear friend, but I wish I didn't know any of you. I really do, because that would mean Jason was alive and that he made it out of there that night. And that is what I truly wish. Hi, Kathy Coppins, my dear friend from Wisconsin. She says, hi, Kathy and Brave Warrior Kara. Hi, Kathy, Miss Sunshine. Hello, Miss Sunshine. Thank you so much. Deirdre, amen. Thank you for she's saying amen to what you were saying about what happened at the police department and what you were standing for, standing your ground. Glad you're here, Miss Sunshine, says Sandy. Good to see you, Sandy. Everybody's saying hi. Hello, Julie, craziest person on earth, my dear friend. Thanks to the Karen retrial, I have met some amazing people who want to stand for justice and making new friends along the way as we go. So Julie says, yikes, he gave you an attitude in person. Next time, try a group chat with sensitive info. I hear that's all the rage nowadays and the cool way to communicate. She's being snarky. Julie has a very good snarky personality. And if any of you have been coming on Friday nights, Julie has been live streaming with me and been on the platform and showing us the experiments that she's been doing to prove that Karen Reed did not hit John O'Keefe with her car. And she's taken a lot of time out of her schedule as a victim advocate. So we're really proud of you, Julie, for everything you've done. And we'll see some more of those videos on this Friday night. So Julie says hi to everyone. And I want to see if you have any questions. Miss Sunshine says, good advice, Julie. Not sure they will give her another bite of the apple. Right, exactly. And then Julie says, that was a little bit of snark and sarcasm. I know you well enough, Julie, so I definitely premise that so everybody would know what you meant. It's really, really shitty what's happening in Florida with Jason. Maybe a group chat would have helped. Yeah, that's interesting that you would say that, but they would never do that. I believe they knew of their fuckery. The need for 3 people in that room, 1 to talk, 2 to gather what information you have so they can come up with a defense. Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
100%.
Sunshine. Yep, you are right on that, Miss Sunshine, as always. Kat, JFK said exactly what you said today. If a cop showed up on a scene at a car crash, the cop would take 1 person and put them at the rear and 1 at the front to separate them. Yep. Absolutely. You always separate witnesses. You always, because you just don't know what people are going to be up to or what they're going to say. And plus you want to calm them down, and the people together tend to get more hysterical. So you always want to, especially if like in the Karen Reed case, when you've got 3 hysterical women, basically, and that's okay to be hysterical. Hysterical is not a bad word. The way they used it to describe Karen, they described it, they used it in a bad way, but it's okay to have a hysterical moment. We're only human. We're only natural to have a visceral reaction to finding a body of a friend in the snow, or in Kara's case, Jason being killed at this bar. There were people there that were probably somewhat hysterical. That is not a bad word. It's a visceral reaction. It's what our body goes into when we're in severe stress. So thank you for telling me that, Julie. I appreciate it. Kathy says, have you gone to your governor, senators, state representatives, Kara? I know this is Florida, but someone needs to listen to their constituent. Yes, Kathy, thank you. That we have talked about that. That's sort of, we've been taking this in like an order of like a chain of command, because that's really the only way you can do it. Because if we had just gone to, let's say, the governor first, they're never going to listen to us, because they're going to say, what have you done? Where's your chain of command? Where are all your no's, right? It's like anything that you go through in life. When you apply for something and they say no, then you have to appeal it, right? So it's kind of the same way. But thank you, Kathy. We appreciate your suggestion. And yes, that is going to happen eventually, but we're going to try to take it just to the next level now, which is the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, similar to Wisconsin, Department of Justice, that we have in Wisconsin, Kathy. We're going to try to take it to that next level, the law enforcement overseeing all law enforcement of Florida, first and foremost. Sandy Poole says it does make sense. Yes, it does make sense now. Hi, Kim Hamilton. Welcome. Glad to see you. I usually have to watch later and never make the live. Oh, great. Well, thank you so much for coming on the replay as well. Anything that works for you. We're good. That's great. Appreciate you. And thank you. Kathy says, welcome, Kim. Sandy says, in our meeting last October, they blatantly lied and told us Jason died of a heart attack when they knew from his autopsy report he died from asphyxia, homicide. Kara, do you want to remind everybody how that went down for those that are new to us and to your case?
The meeting that closed the case?
Yes.
So we went and we
actually no, the very first, your notification of death, if that's, I know this is tough.
So
horrible for you, but this helps us to know all this.
So when the night that Jason had passed away, Detective Wheeler and Detective Teskey, who just resigned from Volusia County Sheriff's Department, Kat, I can't wait to tell you about it. He just abruptly resigned. Weird. I know. Oh yeah, it's foul play. I'll tell you about it. Okay. They came to my house to tell me that Jason had passed. And pretty much what Wheeler had told me was that there was an incident and it's looking like a heart attack, that he had a heart attack. He was at the bar, he was drinking, and that he never once mentioned there was an altercation or anything at all. Nothing whatsoever. So then he knew the very next day how Jason had died. The very next day, the autopsy was done and completed on the 9th, the very next day. So he came to my house literally 2 months later and sat on my couch with Detective Sean McGuire. And proceeded to tell me that Jason died of an illness, that Jason was very sick and he was dying. He was a very, very sick man. Never once ever mentioned homicide by asphyxia. Pretty much Jason had stage 4 colon cancer and he pretty much was going to die. And that's how he died. He was very sick. He had an enlarged heart and he had high blood pressure. And therefore, that's what killed him. Never, ever, never once. Actually, to this day, I don't think Wheeler has ever openly told me he died because they killed him. Ever. He has still stuck by that Jason was sick. And he actually told me anyone else would have survived. And that's not true because nobody can survive being choked for 7 minutes. But, I'm not a doctor. But that's how it went. And once we found out that it was homicide by asphyxiation, we knew it, but they still did not say it.
Right. And thanks for reminding everybody about that. And for those that are new, that is exactly what happened. They were right out of the gate. They were trying to blame Jason dying on Jason.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So in the chat box, Miss Sunshine says, and I agree with her, there is no empathy in allowing someone to drive intoxicated, that nothing less than plain Russian roulette, not only with the driver's life, but with the life and welfare of anyone else on the road. Exactly. And it's perfectly fine to have empathy for people that have committed a crime. That's okay. That makes you a better cop. That makes you a community police officer, which is what we want and need. But you still have to do your job. You still have to arrest someone if they need to be arrested. But in that case, with driving drunk, the officer does have some, especially when because he wasn't on the road, he was in a parking lot. So the officer does have discretion there. But again, only so much discretion. All she would have had to have done is waited there until she could have called a cab. Now, if he would have gotten really angry then and got disgruntled, then she had a backup coming. We know that for a fact. He arrived literally seconds after she walked away from Jason. Her backup pulled up. So if he would have gotten disgruntled about her saying, sorry, sir, but I'm not leaving here. You have to get a ride. I am not allowing you to ride that motorcycle. And if you give me any crap, then I am going to arrest you. So you have two choices, basically you have two choices there.
Yes. And he would have called me. He would have called.
Maybe. I mean, we don't know for sure because Kara, he was very drunk. Yeah. And he'd already spent 2 hours being a really belligerent asshole. And I love you, but we also have to call it like we see it. Jason drank too much. He was being a jerk. Whatever was going on with him that day, he wasn't a happy camper and he was taking it out on other people, unfortunately. So I don't think he would have cooperated. That's why I do truly believe the backup should have arrived. The minute the backup got there, she should have changed her mind and said to the backup, you know what? This guy is super drunk. We cannot let him leave the scene. Yeah. Or why didn't the backup say, hey, what do you got going on here? What's up with this guy?
There's body cam footage of her talking shit about Jason to the backup. Now he cuts off his body cam footage in the middle of it, but she's going on about how drunk and what a jerk Jason is.
I haven't heard that. Where is that?
You have it. It's on one of Bartzer's videos.
Okay, I missed that one for some reason. He
cuts it off, but she's going on about how drunk he is in the video.
Okay, well, we'll have to listen to that tonight because I missed that one. I've heard all of them. I thought, okay, but again, she had no choice in my mind. He was too drunk. There's no way he should have driven out of that parking lot. That's on her. She should have been disciplined. They point blank looked me in the face at that meeting when I said she should have been disciplined. She didn't have that much discretion. You don't have 100 choices of discretion when you're a police officer. You have a couple, and you have to keep people safe when you make that decision if you decide not to arrest. So I said, why? They said she did nothing wrong. We looked into it. I said, that's
absolutely nothing wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. They said, absolutely. I looked at him. What did I say? That's when I got upset and angry. Right. I almost walked out because I didn't think I was going to couldn't stay in that room any longer with this idiot, ridiculous nonsense. So what they should have done is they should have had an external investigation of this. If they didn't think they could investigate their own people, because of the blue line or whatever you want to call that bullshit, then call in someone else to look at what your officers did or didn't do. If you don't think you can do it properly.
They're not going to do that though, because they don't think they've done anything wrong.
No.
Let's listen. Like Detective Wheeler, I'm good at my job. I'm a good detective. They think that they're good. They are not.
Well, when you make a mistake, that's the first thing about humility in any career that anybody has, is that none of us are perfect. We're all human. And if we screw up, then we admit it and we take whatever we have to take for the F up. Kathy says, contact 2020 or Nightline. Yeah, that's a great idea. I haven't thought about that one yet. I have contacted Nancy Grace. I have contacted Surviving the Survivor, who has a pretty big podcast live stream down in Miami, Florida, and does a lot of the cases that are in the media. So I've contacted Gavin Fish. So we're trying, guys. We have reached out to what I consider some of the big live stream crime channels. But again, think about how much is going on in one day in the United States of America. They're only one person who's trying to work no more than probably 50 to 60 hours a week at the best. And so to get in line for these channels it's difficult, but I've tried. I keep reaching out. I have all the contact information for all of them that I just mentioned. Yeah. So I continue to email and Twitter. And I have to say, I give Nancy Grace credit. She literally tweets me back every time I tweet her. And I don't always tweet her about the cases. If she puts something up about her family or something, I tweet her and she gives me a like. So she's very well aware that we're out here, and that's Surviving the Survivor knows we're out here. Gavin Fish knows we're out here. So that's thanks to the Ellen Greenberg. I shouldn't use those words. It's a tragedy what happened to Ellen Greenberg, but I've been following that case since August and live streaming about poor Ellen, who was unalived by, I believe, her fiance. That case is still in complete limbo. I'm wondering what's taking so long now. We'll give you guys an update on that. We're due for an update on that because there isn't much going on, but we need to remind everyone that Ellen still doesn't have justice, and we're waiting for them to overturn that autopsy result to a homicide and not an unaliving of herself, which no one ever believed was the case. But that's how I came in contact with Gavin, who has an amazing podcast. If you do like to follow true crime, you should follow Gavin Fish and you should follow Surviving the Survivor. They both do a great job of covering very tragic homicides and helping those families get justice by advocating for them. Neither one of them actually do any type of they both have been involved with the families, to some of the families, not all of them, but they both do a really good job. So you can check them out. And then of course you all know what Nancy Grace does. So we are trying. There's another woman on Facebook, and now I'm going to forget her name. I reached out to her too, Kara. I forgot to tell you that. She's actually up and coming and basically just covers cases. I don't think she works with the families like we're doing, but she covers a lot of cases that need more coverage. And she tries to look for cases that aren't getting covered by the very big channels. So I give her credit. Do you remember her name? I just found out about her via Sarah Ebersol. So I'll keep reaching out to her as well. I've reached out to her a couple times too. But thank you, Kathy, for saying that, because I forgot about 2020. I don't know if we can't get to the level we're trying to get to now. Yeah. It'd be tough to get there with all the cases that are going on, but it never hurts to try, right?
Yeah. So, it's just so hard because it's not a high profile case, it's been almost a year and a half now because of their lies, that's why.
Exactly. And it is sad, but that is how it works in our world, is that people want to follow the big high profile cases that somebody decides to make high profile. I was always a tad shocked, and no disrespect to Gabby Petito, rest in peace, that poor sweet girl and her family. But there are so many women that go missing every day in this country and are unalived by their boyfriends or their husbands or their loved ones. So many, and they never get any media coverage. And so why a particular victim gets tossed into this huge limelight has always been just so bizarre to me, right? How our media picks and chooses who they should stand for. They could stand for a lot more if they wanted to. They just hire more people, right? Hire more people. You can stand for more missing victims. You can stand for more families that have never found their loved one. But it's sad a little. It's sad because it makes you feel like they're only trying to go after what they feel will get them the most views, or now they say on Facebook, the most clicks and the most super chats and all this other stuff that goes on in the live stream content creators. So we're never going to really totally understand what made Gabby Petito any more or less important than Sarah Ebersol. Sarah Ebersol has been missing for 2 years in Marion County, Florida. Gabby was living over just south of a Sarasota area. She was a Floridian. Before she went missing, she was unalived by her boyfriend. We believe Sarah was unalived by her baby daddy, Joe Mayton. We're not positive, but we think so. And we also know that Tyrone Mormon knows where he drove her that night. It's a GPS coordinate, people. It's there. So Tyrone is refusing to tell where he dropped her off. So it leads you to speculate. So were you the last one to see Sarah alive, Tyrone? Or did you know Joe? Were you guys in cahoots on this so that Joe could get Sarah that night and unalive her because he was tired of sharing custody and tired of arguing and tired of fighting and tired of being a narcissist? We don't know, but we do know is that Sarah's very important binder is missing that had all the legal documents in it. And we do know that Tyrone was with her in the early morning hours of March 3rd. Why isn't there more coverage on this? This was a young mother. She has a child who is now in the custody of a suspect, in my opinion, of her unaliving. But nobody cares about this. Nobody covers this. And this has been going on for 2 years. So this is where I get very frustrated with victim advocacy. And I don't know about all of you, but what the media chooses to spotlight versus not spotlight makes zero sense to me. And I don't understand it. And if there's that many people missing, why don't we have more coverage then? Why don't we hire more people?
I agree. It's all about, like you said, whoever will get you the most views. And,
it's just sad.
It's very unfortunate.
Your mother-in-law says, plain and simple, Jason should have been arrested for DUI at Charlie's. Yeah, absolutely. Or like I said, or
had a ride.
Right.
Correct.
Either or.
Yeah.
And Miss Sunshine says they have the same Karen Reed Police Department mentality. No way in hell they would let anyone step in to reevaluate their investigation. Right. God forbid we get called out for not doing our jobs properly. We can't have that. That can't happen. It doesn't matter that a person is passed and doesn't have any justice. As long as we don't look bad, then we'll just keep talking our talk and doing our same spiel.
Correct.
Julie says, exactly, Miss Sunshine. This sounds like an old-fashioned Southern good old boys network. Oh, for sure. Yeah, there's no doubt, Julie. Very similar the way it is here in Massachusetts in a lot of cases. And then Kim Hamilton, good morning, America, Kara and Jenny. Good morning, America, Kara and Jenny. Oh.
Kim's in the UK, remember?
Oh, that's right. Kim, that's right. You're so sweet to join us at this time of night. What time? You must be in the middle of the night right now.
In the morning.
Is it morning there already?
No,
it's in the middle. I think it's in the middle of the night, Kim, isn't it? I think you're 5 hours ahead of us. We're Eastern time. I think it's 5 hours. I think you are literally in the middle of the night over there, right? Or 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. or something. Yes. So good morning, Kim. And thank you for joining us from over the pond. We really appreciate you. All right. So let's listen to the 911 call. And there's 2 of them. So we're going to listen to the first one in its entirety, and then we'll break and discuss it. And then we'll listen to the second one in its entirety. And then I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek into how we better not do that. We don't want to tell anybody what we're doing quite yet. We'll save that for when we're totally done. But let's listen to those and get your opinion on it. And then, but we will call out any discrepancies because you're going to hear them yourself. So let me bring that up to our platform. So here's the audio in here. So let me go to my drive. I'm just navigating back here in the tech room. Oh, now I have to find where I put it. I just saved the 911 call and I thought I already had it pulled up. So stand by, everybody. Take a stretch break. I'm just going to search my drive because it's not in with the other ones where it's not in where we keep the regular ones. So hang on a second. Where did I put that? Oh, that's okay. I know where to find it.
While you're looking for it, I'm gonna change the subject and
Okay,
bring up. Did you find it?
I found it.
Okay, go ahead.
I found it. So hang on, let me get it. Let me go back to make sure I've got it up.
Jason has a '06 Street Glide with a 26-inch big wheel. Her name is Sparkles, and she's beautiful.
Say that again.
Julie was asking what kind of bike Jason had, and I was telling her it's a
good.
2006 Street Glide with a 26-inch big wheel, and her name is Sparkles.
Oh, that's wonderful. Sparkles. I love that.
He did not.
No,
he did not love that. No,
he did
but
not love
her,
that.
No, but everybody called her Sparkles, and so did he.
Got the screen up. Why isn't it letting me bring it up? Hang on a second. I'm getting there. It says I'm sharing, but I don't see it. Let me know if you guys hear this.
I don't hear anything. No, he didn't name it Sparkles. He called it Sled Bitch, but the powder coat that he had was sparkles everywhere. So then I started calling it Sparkles, and then everybody started calling it Sparkles, and then he would slip up and call it Sparkles. But if you were to ask right now, he would be a Sled Bitch, but it's not. It's Sparkles.
Love it. Okay, I've got it up now, guys. All right, let me go back here. All right, just let me type in the, just let me know if you can hear it, chat, because Karen and I can sometimes hear things you can't hear. So just type yes.
Okay, and what's going on there?
I have a disturbance with a customer that was in here earlier that tried to start a bunch of fights with everybody, and he came back. I asked him to leave, and he's just being unruly, trying to start stuff with everybody in the bar and calling me a bitch and doing all this and that, and I just like someone to come remove him.
Okay, and nothing got physical. It's all been verbal?
Not yet, but it's bound to get there.
Any weapons involved that you can see or he's making?
No, ma'am. I haven't seen any weapons, no.
Give me 1 second.
So no weapons.
And nobody's injured, nothing like that, right?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No. No need for that. Well, shit, I don't know. There's slamming going on in here now.
Give me a
no, that's him. He's a tall guy with dark, he's probably 6'5", big guy, 300 pounds. He's got on a black t-shirt, jeans, he's on a motorcycle, black hat, dark features.
Is he white, black, Hispanic?
He looks white to me. He could be a little
and
Hispanic.
you said he's about 6'5", 300 pounds?
Yeah, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. He's a big guy.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'd throw him out myself.
Got it. I understand. What is your name?
My name is...
And is this a good number for you?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
All right, so I have a call up for service at the Cabbage Patch, 549 North State County Road 415.
Yes,
if
ma'am.
anything changes before we get there, give us a call back and let us know. But we'll get somebody out here.
911 or is there a number?
No, you can call directly back on 911.
Okay, I appreciate you.
Yep,
Yes,
no
ma'am.
problem.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so that's the first 911 call that came in at 7:44 approximately. So we have a disturbance. They're arguing. It's all verbal, but she obviously felt like she needed to call 911, that it could be, she probably felt like, oh crap, this could escalate. So she did the right thing. And they were en route. So she knows they're en route, and she tells them there's no weapons. So we know at this point there's no weapons involved. So they're probably sending at least 2 squad cars would be my guess, since there's no weapons. Maybe 3, but definitely 2. You're never sending 1 squad car to a bar fight, that's for sure. So probably 3 would be my opinion. But so they're on their way, and it's not far. I mean, they're coming from somewhere in Volusia County. They're probably somewhere near, not too far from this bar, which is off of the 95.
It took them 19 minutes to get there.
Right. And that is a little concerning to me, because that they're...
Barter says that he slowed down on his way. He slowed down because They said that she wanted him thrown out and it wasn't a big deal. Okay, let me rephrase that. I haven't seen it. It's on the body cam. So you guys, everybody, I don't know. It's hearsay right now. But
Okay.
I've been informed that he said that he had slowed down because she said it wasn't a big deal and she just wanted him thrown out. And then once it got violent, then he sped back up. So.
Yeah. I guess, you know, I don't know. It's hard to say in the moment what if he was how fast I mean, no weapons, yelling and shouting at each other might not have, for them, it might not have meant lights and siren. It might have just meant let me get there as fast as I safely can get there. But it's a judgment call again by the police as to how fast they were responding to a bar fight. I don't know. 19 minutes seems extreme to me. I mean, the 95 isn't, they're only about probably 10. I think the bar is 10 to 12 minutes off the 95 approximately, maybe 15 at the most. So I guess 19 isn't a terrible response call if they were somewhere else. You know, this is a Volusia County sheriff's.
20 minutes prior, they were 6 minutes away. Just throwing it out there. They were 6 minutes away when they were at Sorry Charlie's.
Okay. Yeah, when they came for that one, they might have
6 minutes from Cabbage Patch at Sorry Charlie. So how
Well,
far away could they have been?
They could have been coming off another call. I mean, Volusia County is huge, and I don't know. I don't know how many officers they have on at one time. I mean, it's a long stretch of that they patrol where they're just out driving around, waiting for a call, waiting to get sent somewhere. And it on a busy night like that, they can get backed up. But if they were really backed up, they would have called for assistance. They could have called New Smyrna Beach Police. They could have called Daytona Beach Police for assistance. So, and they didn't do that. So they couldn't have been that backed up. So I wish we would have asked him that now when we were there. Do you have any idea what was going on in the county that it took them 19 minutes to
They
respond?
would have just lied to us.
Yeah, at this point, probably so. Okay. So let's finish listening now to her second 911 call comes in next. Let me go back to it here for you guys.
911, what is the address of your emergency?
The Cabbage Patch. It just got violent with weapons, so I would like somebody here quickly. Thank you.
Yep. They are driving to you right now.
I hope so, because good God Almighty, I got to go in there and try to break this up, ma'am. But that'd be great.
Weapons? Hold on, who's got weapons?
Somebody came in with a fucking axe. Okay, I don't know like where the hell it came from. I turned around, there's a fucking axe. So yeah, please, God, hurry up and get here. Yeah. Okay, ma'am.
Nope.
Are you still there?
On the phone? Yep. Keep me on the phone.
No, I can't stay on the phone. I'm the only person here. Like, I gotta go back out there and make sure. Like,
I have to hear what's going on because my units are coming to you. If somebody's got weapons, I need to know.
They got the big guy down. They're holding him down for the cops to get here. But I don't know what the hell just happened. I turned around and shit got ugly. So they got the guy that's the problem down on the ground.
I'm updating them while he's driving.
I'm sorry?
I'm updating them while he's driving to you.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Let me see where he is. Is the big guy armed with anything right now, or did they get something away?
No, he's being held down by like 6 guys. He's being held down by 6 guys.
Okay. But nobody else around him has any weapons?
No, they're just holding him down now. I don't even know where the freaking axe thing came from or where it fucking went. So. Oh my God, I knew that was going to happen.
Okay, yep, we're coming down to Mocha Farms right now, okay? We're not far.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, they got him down on the ground, like they seem to have it under control right now.
Okay,
but he's got to go, man.
Got it. No, I understand. We're on our way, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate you. Thank you.
No problem. Bye-bye.
First of all, I'm very incredibly sorry to Jason's mom and to everyone in the chat that's friends with Jason and replay and family and friends, and obviously especially Kara. But Kara and I have been listening to this stuff for months and months and months, and she's a strong lady, I'll tell you, to be able to listen to this. This is not easy to listen to. So what really disturbs me is she said, the person that's the problem is being restrained. No, the person that was the problem at that point was the man that came in with the hatchet. And this was something that I tried to discuss with the Volusia County sheriffs when we were in our meeting, that nobody that's investigated this case, and even a lot of the witnesses, are giving any weight to that. Like, Jason did not have a weapon. He was being verbally aggressive. He was being a jerk. He was being an asshole. He was being loud. He was pounding his fists on the bar, but he never struck anybody. He never touched another human in that place. He did not have a weapon. So that has been my entire concern the entire time, is that this whole thing changed the minute that Jay went out to his car and got a hatchet / tomahawk, whatever that thing was, out of his car, brought it into the bar, and literally attacked Jason with it. That makes him the primary aggressor. He's the one that should have been held down at that point, or they both should have been held down until law enforcement got there. The fact that they let this person, Hatchet Man, leave the scene is absurd. If there's 6 of you and you're holding the big guy down, why aren't you holding Hatchet Man and keeping him from leaving the scene?
Because they were his buddies. That's why.
Exactly.
They're his friends. So he's not the problem, even though he was, that he's not going to be the problem. Jason was loud, therefore their buddy was allowed to do that, and that's okay. And we'll have to get the time of that, Kat, because she tells her that they're holding him down like a minute before. She says it. They're all holding him down like a minute before she says there's 6 guys. So let's go ahead and add that minute onto the time frame, because
I'll make a note of
longer.
That. Yeah, let me get my notepad out where I'm keeping track of all this. I'll add that to the storyboard.
Yeah,
I'd rather documentary.
Eventually I'll go back and re-listen to it and get the time myself, but it's not going to be right now.
No, I'll get it for you. Don't do it. You've listened to it enough. Spare yourself. I'll listen to it. I'll get the exact time. I thought of it while we were listening just now. I was kind of watching as the time ticked by. There was 3 minutes that ticked by just in and of itself of that 911 call. And she's saying they're already holding him down. So he's already being restrained for approximately 3 minutes right there during that 911 call.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that in itself is already, they know law enforcement's coming. And by their own witness testimony to the detectives, they know Jay was the one that brought the hatchet in. They knew that. So, again, Sandy, I am so sorry. Sandy says, my God, I hope no other mother has to ever listen to something this. I can literally hear my son screaming. I know, Sandy, you're so brave to even come to these live streams. I think I've said to you way back when we first started these, that we can tell you what we're doing. We can inform you what we're doing. The fact that you're brave enough to listen to all this and stand for your son is a huge testament to you. A lot of people, and nothing against them, a lot of people can't listen to this. This is really the most extreme stuff you would ever have to listen to as a family member. And that's why I try to do this as cautiously and gingerly as we can. But we are here to get justice. That's what Social Change Warriors channel exists for, is to get justice for the families and for their loved ones. And it takes a lot of tough stuff to do that. So I don't ever, like with my Ellen Greenberg lives, I've emailed with her parents. They don't attend, and I don't blame them. They've seen it. They know how horrible it is. They've seen the autopsy photos. They've seen everything we have to show to advocate for Ellen. And we have advocated for Sandra Birchmore. Same thing. I do not need their families to come. I want them to know that we're advocating and that we're trying to help them to get their justice. But it's painful, and it can be over the top too much. So Sandy and Kara and all of you that are part of Jason's family, I commend you for being able to even attend these advocacy lives that we're doing on Jason's behalf. And you just all have my deepest condolences. You know that. Kara knows that. Miss Sunshine. Oh, hi, buddy. We need to take a little break. Do we need to take a quick break? I think the 911 got the impression since the hatchet came into play that it came from Jason. Yeah, I do. And I don't fault the 911 for that, obviously. And also, I don't fault any of the other witnesses in the bar that actually didn't see Jay leave the bar and come back in. They were doing their own thing. They weren't paying attention. They were gambling. Some of them were at the Cabbage Patch, you're not supposed to have it, but it's in their testimony, their witness testimony to the detective, that they were on the little playing their games machines, and some were playing pool, and some were just like, oh, it's just a drunk guy and he's being obnoxious, and he, we'll just ignore him and he'll go away. And so nobody was really taking this situation seriously. And we'll never know if Jason would have just calmed down and gone back. He was sitting in the bar stool. He had never gotten up. He had never left the bar stool. The witnesses say that. So he wasn't escalating. He was still doing what he had been doing for the last 2 to 3 hours, complaining, whatever bad mood he was in. He was bitching and moaning and complaining about things, and who would ever listen to him, and just being a nuisance to the point where he was about to get kicked out of a bar. So we do know that much would have happened, because Dawn did call 911 when they started getting more loud and with the pounding on the bar. So we do know they were coming, and obviously the officers may have arrested him for disorderly conduct, or they may have just escorted him home and got him the heck out of there. We're never going to know, because it didn't go down that way, because Mr. Keeney decided to go get a hatchet. Here, buddy. Here we go. You can come. You can come up. Let me say hi to everybody. There he is. There's the fluff monster. He just had a bath today before our live stream, so he's full of fluff. It's getting big. We're just not going to know, and I'm sick and sorry and sad for that, for all of you that love Jason and that are his friends and family. It all should have been. It couldn't have been handled very differently at that point. I don't fault Dawn for how she handled it. I mean, she did call 911 when it started to get louder and more verbally aggressive, and that's what she should do and was supposed to do. I fault the owner, the owner of the Cabbage Patch now, for not having 2 bartenders on a busy time during Bike Oktoberfest. I don't understand why you would have 1 bartender on in a crowded bar, a biker bar. No disrespect to bikers, because Kara's one and Jason was one and Kara's friend Jay is one. No disrespect, but this is a time where people do drink a lot. It's just like in Wisconsin, we have Summerfest, and there's a lot of drunk people there, and they have a lot of security there, because things happen when people drink. People get obnoxious, and things can get out of hand, and fights can happen. Bar fights can happen, and fights can happen at festivals. And so when you have a big event like that about to go on, I don't understand why you have 1 bartender on. I understand maybe Sunday nights is quieter, but for all safety purposes in this world that we live in today, I don't believe anybody should be manning a bar alone. I don't believe anybody should be manning a convenience store alone in this day and age after a certain hour of the day, even during the day. I just don't find it safe. And if you can't afford to pay another person, maybe you shouldn't own something, right? If you can't afford to keep your employees safe, because this might have been very different had there been 2 bartenders on. Maybe something would have changed. We don't know. Every little thing we do, every little thing we say, every decision we make, it changes things, right? So, all right. Where do you want to go from here? Would you like to listen to, I'd like them to hear the person who actually said that he witnessed this man leave the bar and go out and come back in. We can listen to that witness testimony.
From Tori, or which one?
Yes, Tori's. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tori's. I believe it was Tori that, hang on a second. Let me check my notes.
There's multiple. Tori Tunison says it. Steve Clements says it. Steve Clements, you should hold out on till we get to the part where the cops don't do their job trying to save Jason's life, because that's how I figured it out. Right. So you should do Tori Tunison's audio right now, because he very openly explains how Jay was the aggressor.
Okay, good. And I just listened to that literally right before we came live because I hadn't heard all of it and I wanted to make sure I heard all of it so that I could give better comments. So I'm going to take the puppy out. I'm going to play this for you guys and take the puppy out and we'll be right back. So let me get this started for you guys here. Okay, buddy, hang on a second. Let me go to my, there we go. I'm just going to go pull up the rest of the audio here. Feel free to engage with the chat while I pull up the next audio for you guys. All right, guys, here it is. Sorry for the puppy. Okay, let's go, puppy. Type in the chat box that you can hear it, please.
Sorry, I didn't mean to call you out in front of everybody. That was just one of the only names that I know out of everyone, so I figured I would just start from there. We can if you want. Yeah, that's fine. That's right. Okay, we'll use this then. That's a little better. Okay. So like I said, I don't have a whole lot of information. We kind of just started. I'm sure you saw me walk up maybe 15 minutes
Just
ago.
type yes that you can hear it okay.
Pieces together. But it's my understanding that you might have a little bit of information for us, so I wanted to just sit you down and see if we can't square some things around. Sorry, before I get started, it's okay. Can I get your full name?
Tory, T-R-Y.
Mm-hmm.
Tunison, T-U-N-I-S-O-N.
And what's your phone number, Tory?
386.
Uh-huh.
He was in here earlier.
I just got to forward. I don't like to give out people's addresses and phone numbers, so let me forward past that and let me work on getting it back to where it needs to be. So stand by a sec.
Sure. And him and some other people were fight twice a week, and then on the weekends once on Sundays.
Every Sunday, you think?
Probably, yeah.
Around this time of night?
Between 2 to 6.
Okay. Walk me through some of the events that happened leading up to the events tonight.
Gentleman inside that passed.
Mm-hmm.
He was in here earlier, and him and some other people were.
I'm going to apologize in advance. I'm going to cut you off a whole bunch. Okay. What time did you get here tonight?
3, 4.
Okay. So you know that he was here earlier?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
Was he here when you got here? Or did you just
I don't think so. A couple of people came in on bikes.
Okay.
And they started doing Schwarzenegger, and that guy started getting loud with people he came in with and wanted to fight everybody. And then he took off on his bike and then come back, sat at the bar.
Did the people he came in with stay here when he left?
No, he left, and then shortly after they left.
Did you recognize them?
I knew one of the persons that was here, him and his wife, and his name's Ray Budd, B-U-D-D. he came back, not Ray, that guy came back, and then just sat at the bar. I don't know, he was arguing with somebody at the bar and kept slamming his hands on the bar. And
This is after he came back, right?
yeah.
Okay.
And then Dawn, the bartender, was like, "Look, you need." He was serving nobody else, and then he was talking to other people at the end of the bar. One old man went out and came back in with a hatchet.
Okay. So walk me through where this guy was sitting.
Midway through so not this bar, but the sideways, going towards the bathroom. Midway through the bar, he was. So okay, I'm gonna even draw it out for you.
I think I know where you're talking about.
Okay, so bar.
Okay.
He's sitting midway. There's a guy in the corner, another guy here. He's yelling at these people.
Okay. Were there other people filling in the spaces here?
I think there was a guy at the end back here, and then more over here on the side.
Okay. But they were out of play?
Yeah.
As far as you know?
They weren't
okay.
part of this.
So he's arguing with the two at the end.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
And this guy went out, come back in with a hatchet, and ran up and put it to his neck.
Okay, so one of the two down here, was it a male, female, or two males? Okay.
Close to a 70-year-old man.
Okay. So it's two guys at the end, and the one that left, you said he was close to a 70-year-old man. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know what they were arguing about?
The main guy that was before, when he was in here earlier, he was like, "I'm the baddest son of a bitch in this bar. Nobody's gonna say shit to me." And they came back with still saying the same thing.
Okay. So he's just testing everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I come up, put the hatchet to his neck. They went to the ground. Everybody went to the ground.
Okay, so when this guy comes up and puts the hatchet to his neck, everybody kind of stepped in? Is that what you're saying?
They all went. They went. The big guy tackled that other guy to the ground, and then we kind of wrestled them apart.
Okay.
So the big guy that's in there tackled the old guy?
Yeah.
Okay. And then everybody jumped in, pulling him off the old guy?
Yeah, I grabbed the guy's arm, the big guy, restrained him. I had elbow on the ground, arm to the side, never anything on top.
Mm-hmm. Was he fighting?
He was trying to. He was a big guy.
He was still struggling?
He was still trying to.
It's redacted.
Hold him until you guys, arrive.
Where was he when you were holding him? On the ground?
A couple of feet from the pool table where he was at.
Okay. Was he face up or face down?
He was face down.
Okay. So yourself and you said a couple other people were kind of just holding his arms down to calm down until the cops got there.
Another guy, I'm like grab him by his arm like I'm holding him. I told him, like, grab my arm like I'm holding him. And I make sure, like, don't be on his back. Like, make sure he can breathe.
Yeah. Do you happen to recall who else helped you hold him down? Are they still here?
No, they left.
Okay. What about the old guy? Did you see what he left in, or if he left with the other guy? I don't know what
he drove in. I mean, I've seen him here before. I don't know what he drives. If he was on a motorcycle or what.
Okay.
But
what about the guy he was?
Do you know what they call him?
I don't know what his name is. I've seen him here. I don't want to
See
talk
him here,
to him.
but you don't interact with him?
Yeah, I don't ever talk to him.
You come here by yourself, or you come here with somebody?
I drove myself here.
You drive yourself here?
Today, yeah.
Okay. Had you ever seen the big guy?
No, I've never seen him.
Never
before.
seen him.
No.
Do you happen to recall what the old man was wearing?
I think he had a black T-shirt.
Mm-hmm. Did he have a beard or anything?
He had a longer beard.
Is it
Gray?
It's gray. Okay. So a longer gray beard.
Mm-hmm.
Is he thinner, heavy set?
Thin.
And you said you'd seen him in here before, right?
Yes.
Was he in here alone or with someone else?
He was in here with other people, but I mean, normally he's in here by himself.
Okay. How many times have you seen him here?
Once a week.
Okay. So he comes often.
Yeah.
What day does he usually come? Does he come with you on Sundays or a different day?
No, I mean, he doesn't come with me. I mean, I've
No,
seen
I
him
just
here.
mean when you see him.
sometimes during the week.
Okay,
Monday, Tuesday,
so it
whatever.
varies.
Yeah.
He doesn't have like a specific day
He
he
probably
comes
lives
in.
close, I would imagine.
So, did you ever actually see anybody get hit with the axe, or you only saw him hold it
No,
to
he
his
just
neck?
put it up to his neck, and then the guy jumped off the. Like he was sitting in the chair, and when the axe kind of come out. No, he didn't get hit with the axe.
Okay. And I know you said that you've been here since about 3 o'clock. Did you pay with like a tab? Do you have a tab with a card?
Yeah,
or
I
anything?
paid with a bartender that was here before.
Okay, so you paid with Jen.
Yeah.
Okay. You cashed out with Jen?
Mhm.
Okay.
So, on credit card or pay cash or
Cash.
with cash? And they provide you a receipt or slip or anything? It's one of those regular, like local bars where
Yeah, she told me what I owed. I gave
you
her
pay it.
Is it written down on like a paper?
I would
slip as
imagine
far as
it
you know?
was, some
Or
kind of
she just
ledger
tells
or
you?
something. Yeah, she just told
Okay.
me some $20 and I gave her 30.
Okay. All right. I understand.
Did you see this big guy drinking at all?
Yeah, like I said, when they were here earlier, they were Jaeger bomb after Jaeger bomb, Jaeger bomb.
Okay.
I think the whole group did like 12 or 10. I don't know, man. I just kept hearing them ordering more and more and more.
And they were all on motorcycles, that group?
Yeah.
And then he's the only one of that group to come back?
Yeah, when he left, he went that way
Okay.
and then come back. I guess that's his bike out front.
About how long did you wait for?
The time he left, came back,
Yeah,
30 minutes.
about 30
45
minutes.
minutes.
And in that time frame, the other guys on the bikes, they
All left.
They all
They
left.
were going home. They were on a ride or something. Whatever.
Okay. And then he comes back, sits in that place that you told me about,
Yeah.
and still keeps
Yeah.
egging people on, instigating arguments and stuff like that. The old man, I know that you said there were two of them sitting at the end of the bar. What about the other guy? Have you ever seen that guy before?
Yeah, he's in here quite a bit too. I mean, he works. I don't know what he does, but he's local. He's in here all the time.
What does he look like? Is he younger or older?
Older guy, heavy set.
When you say older, what do you mean? Like 60s, 70s?
Mid 50s.
Okay.
5'6", 6'5", 6'6". I'm 6'5", so he's about 6'6".
was he with the other guy, the 7-year-old? Or
No.
were
They probably just know
they just
each
happen
other.
to be sitting next to each other.
Yeah.
They know each other, but not. They didn't
Yeah, I
know each
mean
other.
regulars here. But
Regulars here. You know that the 50-year-old guy, do you know his name or nickname or anything?
Do you know what he drives?
I think it's like a Dodge pickup.
Okay. Yeah. Newer or older?
I think it's newer.
Do you know what color it is?
Red.
And you said he comes in pretty often too?
Yeah, maybe afternoon.
Okay. Okay. Is there anybody else that you recognized inside that maybe could have gotten a better vantage point? Maybe something different than what you saw? Or maybe outside, anybody that was sitting outside that could have seen the old man go to his vehicle?
No, I mean, it happened pretty quick. I didn't see, even when the old man left, the other place I was playing pool, I didn't even see the old guy go out. I heard him arguing and come back in, and it was like quick.
Yeah.
After, so he, there's the tussle there where the guy tackles the older guy. You're holding him down. You're holding him on the floor. At what point does that older gentleman leave?
I mean, honestly, I couldn't see because I was like wrestling with the guy.
Okay.
We pulled the guy off the old man. He must have shot out.
Okay. But you didn't see
No.
actually when he left or anything?
So big guy actually had old guy on the ground?
Yeah, he tackled him
Okay. So he,
from the bar stool down, right at the edge of the pool table.
okay. I got you. Did you happen to see if the old man was injured? Did he like hit his head or anything?
I don't know.
Okay. Just asking. All right. Is there anything else? Is there anything else you can think of maybe we didn't ask that
After-
popped in your mind? Go ahead.
Afterwards, where was that hatchet had after?
I don't know where it went. Honestly, it was still inside.
Okay. So you didn't touch
No,
it?
I never
move
seen it.
You
No.
didn't, okay, other than when he had it when he first came
Yeah.
in. After that, you lost track.
No,
of
like when he came up and put it to his his throat or whatever. I was at the corner of the bar. I never seen where it went.
Okay.
It was just like a quick boom.
Okay. So you saw
this guy off the guy.
Once you're in the middle of the fight, you're not paying attention to it.
Yeah, I was just trying to get the monstrosity of a guy off the old man.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Okay.
And when you say held it to his neck, like in a threatening manner, or did he like cut him? Or
He didn't
hit
cut him, but he like held it to his throat.
Okay. So
With
he reached out, grabbed it, held it to him, and that's when he got tackled.
Yeah, he came in with it, with the intention, and put it to his throat.
With intention.
And that's when the guy, jumped off the bar stool.
Okay. All right, I understand.
Other than the Jaeger bomb, you didn't see him take anything. He wasn't smoking anything.
No,
or
I mean,
consuming anything. Or snorting
No, I
anything off
didn't
the
see
bar.
anything in the bar. No.
Okay. Anybody doing any type of that activity inside the bar that you know
No,
of? Or seen?
I didn't see nothing like that. Like
Not really.
nobody's gonna do it right in the middle of the
Nobody's
bar.
gonna do that in the open bar at this place. Okay. So everything told stays true, correct, Dr.
Yes, sir.
And we got your phone number, right?
I do. Yeah, I have it. Okay. I'll check with some of the other detectives on scene to see.
Alrighty. So that's tough. That's a lot. So let me review, and then I want to go to the chat and see what you guys all have to say about that. That witness review by Mr. Torrey. So they redact. There's a part where you didn't hear that they continually redact Dawn, even though Dawn's name is in everything, because there's a law about the 911 caller. But I don't understand why that a law applies here. And I tried to get them to explain this to me because she was the manager of the bar. She was the only employee of the bar. So she is the only person that could have called 911 on behalf of the bar. So, and her witness testimony is crucial, her witness, interview. So I'm not understanding. I mean, obviously everybody's phone numbers, addresses, socials, that's all redacted. That's all fine and well, but I don't understand why she falls under this 911 statute with some of the statements she makes, because she's the employee, she's the bar manager, she's in charge of the place. So I still need answers about that. So he says Jason slamming his hands on the bar, being aggressive. He was already doing that earlier and had been maybe doing that at the other bar too, because he was talking loudly and aggressively at Sorry Charlie's. He clearly states that the old man left and came back with a hatchet and came up and put it to Jason's neck. He clearly states that. And he says that he has seen him there before. So obviously he's probably a regular, or at least somewhat of a regular, right? And then, as Kara just pointed out to you guys, he came in with intention.
That's what he said.
That's exactly what he said. And that was, you guys, he was interviewed right after it happened. This is all basically his eyewitness testimony.
Yeah.
At the time, being interviewed. He says the big guy came off the bar stool when he saw the axe, when he saw him swing the axe.
When the guy put the axe to his neck. Yep.
Well, I think now see the other witness that we're about to listen to now says that he hit the bar first with it, that he slammed it against the bar in an effort to possibly scare Jason. So this Torrey doesn't say anything about him hitting the bar first. Maybe he didn't see that, right? Because he was over playing pool, correct?
I don't
So
know.
it's possible that he didn't see that, because the other witnesses say that he hit the bar with the axe, and we saw the mark on the bar when we were there. So I think that would be when, if it were me, that's when I would have come off my bar stool. So it's anyway, the point is that Jason hadn't even left his bar stool. He wasn't attacking anyone. He wasn't hitting anyone. He wasn't striking anyone. This escalated to this level of violence because this person decided to go outside and bring a hatchet back into a crowded bar.
And anybody notice that Tory lied and acted like he didn't know who Michael Beery was? But while he was describing how they were holding Jason down, was using Michael by name. I told Mike to not get on his back, make sure he could breathe. I told Mike, don't get on his back. But then when they said, "Do you know who he is?" He was like, "No."
Right.
Nobody caught
They
that.
are. He was afraid to draw attention to his friend or to make it look as, to aid in any way that his friend may have been the one to cause him to stop breathing because he was applying too much pressure. So he wasn't. So yeah, you're right. He slipped and he used his name. That there's a lot of that going on in these audio interviews that we've been able to listen to. So let's take a short. I'm going to move around in this interview with Jay because I want you all. We did not have it downloaded 3 weeks ago, and we were listening to it off my phone, and I don't know how great it came through. But now that we have listened to the 911 interview and we have listened to one witness, the other witness that I listened to earlier today is Mr. Mark, and he basically says he's a regular there. Usually there's never problems there. He said he heard the smack on the bar. So then he went up to get another beer. And then he said he saw the big guy hit the ground very hard. He said, I don't know is this an interview you can handle listening to, Kara?
I can listen to any of the interviews. I'm just not watching the body cam footage.
All right. Good. Well, then I think it would be worth it for everybody to listen to what Mr. Mark has to say, because it doesn't jive with what, in some respects, with what Tori just told you. So let's listen to that one. Stand by. I'm going to go into the tech room. Before I go into the tech room, let me just go and catch. Sorry about the volume, guys. This is what we get from because it's audio that came from the police department, and obviously they're interviewing on the scene, and there's a lot of background noise. I don't have the skills to clean it up, but Kara and I may work on that. I know somebody who does. So we may clean up the audio for what we're working on for our mini documentary. So then it'll be much easier for you guys to hear. Miss Sunshine says, so Hatchet Man puts hatchet up to Jason's neck and then Jason stands up. Yeah. Or I think Jason might've stood up when he slammed it on the bar. One or the other. But he was definitely sitting at the bar and he hadn't made any aggressive moves towards anyone to hit them or strike them no witness had ever said that. So Miss Sunshine says, so Hatchet Man puts hatchet to Jason's neck. This is very clear. It was only after that did Jason stand his ground. How can they see it any other way? I agree, Miss Sunshine, 100%, 1000%. This has been frustrating to me, beyond frustrating to me from the day I first met Kara and she described what happened to me. I can't get over it. I don't understand the ins and outs of this, of who they're protecting and why. Yeah. Because this is just utterly ludicrous. There is no stand your ground for anybody once they are the ones that insert a weapon into the situation. I don't care what state you're in. I don't care what your damn law says. You are no longer the victim. If you have gone out to get a weapon from your car, whether you're using a beer bottle as a weapon, or you go out and to get a knife or a gun, or in this case, a hatchet, you are now the aggressor. You have lost your right and your privilege for stand your ground. And this is utter crap. And so that's why we have to keep advocating. We're going to keep advocating. Yes, Sandy, Jason was standing his ground. Absolutely. And that's why I said to Kara way back in the beginning, I said, if anybody has the right to claim the stand your ground law, it's Jason, not Michael Beery, not Hatchet Man, not anybody. So this is so obvious to everybody that's not involved, that's not a Volusia County sheriff, that's not one of these witnesses. It's utterly, it's painful. It's absolutely painful. It gives me like a pain in my throat. When I took the poppy out, I had a pain in my throat because this is painful to me and stressful that this has gone this far. This is so obvious what happened there that night. There was a combination of alcohol, anger, male testosterone, one-upsmanship by this hatchet man, and then by Michael Berry holding him down. I'm bigger than you. I'm almost as big as you. I'm going to hold you down. I don't care if the police are on their way. I mean, there's consequences for that kind of behavior. You don't get to get super drunk and act a fool. And there would have been consequences for Jason. He was probably going to get arrested for disorderly conduct. He should have already been arrested for driving drunk. He should have had consequences. Kara has never once stated, nor have I, that Jason was innocent in any of this. He played a role in what happened, most assuredly. Why? For sure, we don't know why he allowed himself to behave that way, because many people, including obviously Kara's bias, his mother's bias, but many people have told me that this was not a normal way for Jason to behave, that he did not act way.
I think what it was how about the 10 rounds of Jaeger bombs?
Well,
you get somebody belligerent drunk and and that's kind of what happens. But with going back to the stand your ground, what they're saying is it's all on your perception of what the imminent danger is, which I asked them repeatedly, what was the imminent danger? You have to prove an imminent danger. You have to prove one, but they said they don't have to prove one. It's all in the perception. If you feel it's an imminent threat, you are allowed to act. So therefore, he was allowed to go get a weapon and come back because he said he was scared that Jason was an imminent threat. But in reality, that's when I addressed the officers, when I was speaking to them and we were having our deflecting debate, because that's what they were doing, was deflecting everything. Jay went with me. My friend Jay went with me, and he looked dead at Seth Amron, and he said, you know what? I don't like how this conversation's going right now, so I'm going to go grab a hatchet. And they immediately, you should probably get that clip and play that, Kat, in reality. And they were like, we're not doing hypothetically. You can't do that. That's not how that works. And he's like, actually, that's exactly how it worked. And look at how you're getting. We're proving it right now that because we're arguing, I can't go get a weapon. You just said that. And they're like, that's not how it works. We're not doing hypotheticals. It doesn't work that way. But we proved it in its sense. We were arguing, and Jay was going to go get a weapon because he didn't like the argument. And they said that does not work. So in reality, with their meeting, we proved that that's not right. So, but Jason was loud in saying he was a bad motherfucker or a bad Republican. He was the baddest Republican around. Therefore, he was a threat. But that guy was scared. This old man was scared. This hatchet guy was scared, but he was so unscared that he was able to go get a weapon and come back. So that doesn't make any sense. But earlier, his testimony, or actually you'll hear it in the audio we're going to listen to, he was so scared of Jason, supposedly at the other bar, that he left because he was so scared of him. But yet when he was at this bar, he was so scared he went and got a weapon and he attacked him. Which one is it?
What you get, I guess, sometimes.
Exactly. And that's the problem, is that the law is just so broad. They absolutely have to revisit the stand your ground law for so many reasons. It's way too broad. It's giving people vigilante authority that they don't and should not have, especially if the other people are drunk as well. So that this law is so screwed up, and maybe Kara and Kara's mom, Jason's mom, and everyone else, maybe this case, the Jason Veach case, Kara's living nightmare, will change this law, because there have been other cases where it's been abused and they haven't been able to do anything about it. But maybe this will be the time, because this is absolutely absurd and ridiculous and absolutely just unbelievable.
I agree. I don't agree. I want everybody to know this. I agree with the stand your ground law. I do not agree with the no obligation to retreat. That needs to go. In every other state, or 80% of the other states that do stand your ground, they all, you have to be able to retreat first before you use stand your ground. And that's how it should be everywhere. You shouldn't just give people the right to just go blow people away because they want to.
Well, that's what I just said. You can't give people vigilante.
Correct. And that's exactly what
carte
these guys
blanche.
want.
I mean, and also, like I said, being intoxicated, if everyone in the picture is intoxicated, there should be some kind of caveat to that or some kind of exemption to that. So because you're not making rational decisions when you're drunk. And even if if Jay only had 1 or 2 beers, he's still under the influence. So there's a lot wrong with stand your ground law, a lot wrong with it.
Absolutely.
So for me to even remotely be okay with it, so much would have to change, because right now it's absolute shit. Because what's happened to a few other people in Florida because of this law is disgusting and a travesty. And so we'll see what we could do about that, because that's the other thing that we are willing to do at Social Change Warriors is tackle laws and tackle congressmen and senators and governors and try to get laws changed, because a lot of them suck and they don't do what they were intended to do, and they actually harm people. So that's another advocacy road we can go down once we get this part achieved. Okay, so let me bring up this next. Let me share my screen again here.
I'm going to go check my kid and make sure he went to bed while you pull that up.
Okay, of course. So, Miss Sunshine, you said, I have to believe the hatchet was at Jason's neck before the hatchet hit the bar. Otherwise, Jason would have reacted before the hatchet ever made it to his neck. I see your point, but yes and no, because again, this all happened very quickly. As you heard Tori say, that Mr. Hatchet Man came running in with intent. So if he came running in and just slammed that hatchet down on the bar and said, shut up, you asshole, quit threatening everybody in here, blah, 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 and then put it to his neck, Jason might have not had time to react. I'm just going by what the witnesses have said, and the fact that I saw the mark on the bar. You guys have seen it in our Google case file. Could it have been from another time when someone else had a bar fight there? Sure, possibly. But there are people that said that Hatchet Man swung it and hit the bar with it in an attempt to scare Jason first, and then held it up to him. So, there's no, they don't use cameras there. They only have a surveillance footage after they've manned their alarm system. So there's no surveillance footage when the bar is open and the alarms are not manned. So we have no surveillance footage, which is one of the excuses that the sheriff used for why they couldn't like recommend that the DA press charges or insert that into their police reports, be able to insert this, because they're saying there's no footage. And I argued with them and said, there's no footage of a lot of crimes. That doesn't mean that the crime didn't happen. That doesn't mean that there wasn't a crime committed just because there's no footage of it. My God, I mean, what a crazy thing to say back to me, in my opinion. Like, what does that even mean? There's tons of things that happen that there's no footage of. Even in this day and age, we have footage everywhere, but we don't always have footage everywhere. So there's no footage of John O'Keefe getting hit by a car. But yet they arrested Karen and inevitably framed her for it, right? So what are you chewing on? Oh, you monster. Where did you get that from? He got something he wasn't supposed to have. Oh, boy. Hope I didn't need that. I hope I saved that somewhere. I don't know where you got that from, puppy, you little monster. He likes to steal my papers, so I purposely put out some papers that I don't need anymore in this little bucket under my desk so that he could think he's getting away with something, because he's going to do it anyway. So then Miss Sunshine says, if Hatchet Man perceived Jason was an imminent threat and he removed himself from the threat, yet he was so scared that he returned back to danger once he was safe. Exactly. And we've been saying that all along, Miss Sunshine, that he left the threat. They also were aware, I'm sure, that Dawn had called the police. So
they were all very aware that the cops were on their way. Very aware.
Right. So then again,
But
it,
on that matter, sorry to interrupt.
no, you're fine. You go ahead.
That the cops made sure to tell me, oh, well, he was defending others, because that falls back under stand your ground. That's where he was allowed. The defending others is imminent threat to himself or somebody else, in defense of yourself or somebody else. They made sure they kept pulling that back up too. He was defending Dawn. Wheeler says, oh, you were defending Dawn's honor because Jason called Dawn a bitch. Well, fuck you, Dawn. You're a bitch. There you go.
Right.
I just called you one too. Tell Jay to come on with his hatchet. Sorry.
Right.
I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry. That was a
No,
little uncalled for.
It's okay. You have every right to feel how you feel, and you can say whatever you want to say. This is the Angry Bitch Club. This is Wednesdays. We have freedom of expression here on Wednesdays, freedom of speech.
But that's what it is. That's why they keep saying it falls under stand your ground, because he believed Jason was an imminent threat, I'm assuming, to Dawn, who was, guess what? Went to the kitchen. She was in the kitchen calling 911. Did Jason follow her? No, he didn't. Did he get up off his bar stool? No, he didn't. Again, where was the imminent threat? It's so proven that Jason wasn't an imminent threat by everybody saying, yeah, he was running his mouth all day long. But did he ever once try to fight anybody? No, he didn't. They said that. Nope, he was yelling. He was just talking shit, seeing if he could get a rise out of people, and everybody ignored him. But again, I don't condone his behavior. I don't think his behavior was okay. But again, Jason didn't attack somebody first. He was not the aggressor.
Exactly. It was all verbal. He hadn't brandished a weapon. He hadn't spoken of a weapon.
Verbal threats do not allow you to grab a weapon and attack somebody.
Right, because here's the thing is that we read about the Florida Stand Your Ground law, and we read those 4 qualifiers. It has to equal. So verbal has to equal verbal. So if Jay would have been yelling and shouting and pounding on the bar to tell him to shut up, then that equals that. But leaving the scene and going to get a weapon and coming back in with a weapon and attacking Jason with the weapon, not even threatening to attack him with the weapon, but actually attacking him with the weapon, that does not meet the standard anymore for stand your ground. Absolutely doesn't. All right, so here we go again. Somebody please type yes so that I know you can hear it, because I'm in this tech room, so I can't see you guys until I come back. Make sure that we have audio for you guys as best as we can get it. I have it turned up as high as I can turn it up.
What you get, I guess, sometimes. The way the cookie crumbles.
Some of it's redacted.
Yep. All right. Well, my name is Detective Baird. I work with the Sheriff's Office, obviously. Starting to get a little bit of a story here about everything that's happened. What's your first name, sir?
Mark D. Hatfield.
I'm going to pass this because she's going to ask for his
just the way it sounds.
Phone number.
It's through my sister's insurance company.
Oh, okay.
Commercial coverage is CCI Insurance.
It's an Android.
Yeah.
Okay. You said that you just popped over for a beer, so I'm guessing that means that you got here maybe a little later.
No, I had a beer. I played the machine for a minute.
What time do you think you got here, if you had to guess?
Oh, God. Probably, I should make.
When it goes blank, it's because there's redactions that we're not totally sure why, but we can go back and check the written police reports.
Okay. How long have you been coming here?
I moved down here 3 years ago from Ohio, but I've been stopping in for probably 35 years off and on.
Okay.
When I come down, I used to always come down for Bike Week.
Sure.
From Ohio. I just live right down the street here in Cypress Head.
How often do you come here?
I'm not a real big drinker, but I stop in, just bullshit with the girls and the guys 3 times a week.
Okay.
Never no problems here. Never.
Sure.
I got a beer. I went to one of the machines. I played the machine over there. And then I come back. I was getting ready to order one more beer. Some person drinks like 2 beers and leave. And as soon as you walk into the door, right there to the end of the bar on the right hand side. Like if you walk in here, just right there where the girls can go in the back to the
Okay, so like one of the first
little
seats.
corner. That's
Okay.
on the corner. Yeah.
Okay. And what did you see from your spot?
Well,
I know obviously once you're at the
first-
machine, you might not have seen a lot.
First, when I was at the machine, first thing I heard was a big old bang slap real hard, like on the bar. I mean, almost loud enough for a cycle look like a little 22 going off. He hit it so hard.
Okay.
And then that's when I come up and get another beer, and then he smacked his hands again real hard. And then somebody else come in, they like argued, and next thing I know, he was on the ground. And then
Who else came in?
I don't know.
You don't know. Did you get a look at him?
He's my age, probably
Okay.
62, 65.
Okay, so we'll say a 60s male.
Yeah,
Did he have a beard?
I don't know.
Not sure.
No, to be honest with you.
Do you know what color his hair was?
Probably like my color, probably.
Okay. So from what you know, you heard the smack, you heard it again.
Yeah,
Then you see a gentleman come in,
yeah.
and then they
And
got
then-
into it. Is that
And yeah, they sort of got into it, and then next thing I know, he hit the ground real hard.
big guy did?
The guy deceased,
Okay.
he hit it real hard.
Yeah.
He's like bam. And to be honest, he acted like he was screwed up on freaking dope or something.
Yeah.
To be honest, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that kind of seems to be the general consensus, is that he didn't seem like he was just drunk, maybe.
No, 'cause he
Little
was-
did you know.
So first of all, as we all know, I just want to clarify, there was no drugs in Jason's system.
Zero. drugs.
Zero drugs. So for them to make comments that they thought he was on drugs is absurd, because you don't know a person. You have no idea. People can be drunk and you don't even know they're drunk. There's a lot of people who are, they're just surviving alcoholics, and they drink so much that it doesn't affect them anymore. And you can't even tell they're drunk unless you were close enough to smell it on their breath. And there's people that do certain drugs where you can't tell. You just can't tell. So for them to for any of these witnesses to even indicate at all that they thought that Jason was on drugs is utterly absurd. And what does he mean by dope? If he's talking about pot, first of all, pot smokers aren't violent. Pot smokers don't get violent. There's no violence involved with smoking pot ever. So if he was smoking pot, freaking who cares, first of all? And you're not going to be violent if you're smoking pot. It just doesn't work that way. The body doesn't react that way to marijuana. So I don't know what he was talking about there. That was just talking out of his ass. Sorry to swear, but this case makes me so freaking mad. I just want to walk around my house and swear all the time.
I would like it to just be known that while we're listening, I'm reading the summarized reports as Detective Wheeler wrote them. And I'm reading Barrett's in her interview with Mark Hatfield, and it never once says that he saw the man come in, just so you know. I don't know how the discretions work. I know that it's a summarized report. But the key words that need to be in it is that the guy came in, he did come in, because again, that he makes the fifth person that saw him come into the bar. You know what I mean? Like maybe I'm just biased that it's a little, it needs to, the most important parts are not that, the guy looked old.
Right. And Miss Sunshine says simply stereotyping witness testimony.
To fit their narrative 100%.
Yeah. Swearing is allowed. It's encouraged in cases like these. Thank you, Julie. We agree. Everything's allowed on Wednesday nights. This is the Angry Bitch Club. We can say and yell and shout and cry and do whatever we want to do on Wednesdays. Thursdays we'll stick to the facts and we'll do what we have to do. But Wednesdays is our night to swear and cry and complain and just be mad at the world for the way that these cases have been handled. It's utterly despicable. Okay, I wanted to stop it there for a minute because I wanted to make sure everybody knew on replay and on live that there were no drugs in Jason's system. So
Correct.
Any of these witnesses indicating that were literally talking out of their asses.
Yes.
Drink.
Oh, really?
He had no drinks in front of him.
Okay.
He had no
Did you
drinks
hear
in front of
him
him because he'd
argue
been
with
cut
that
off
older
by the
male?
bartender. So you don't get to surmise
I
that,
didn't
sir.
hear him really talk.
Okay.
All I
So you
heard,
the
all I heard was
smack,
like,
the smack.
and then I see him on the ground, hard.
Okay.
And then they were holding him. When the sheriff come in, I'm like, man, you gotta give him CPR. Hell, the sheriff didn't know how to do CPR. I'm like, guys, I said it's easy CPR.
Yeah.
Why isn't that in the
We had to do
report?
CPR every 3 years.
Yeah.
And I
we have
said,
to do it often.
guys, we got to start pumping his chest. You know, mouth to mouth these days are gone.
Right.
You got to keep the heart going.
Mm-hmm.
And they kept pumping. I said, "Do you need some help?" He goes, I got it. And then even by looking at him,
I believe he's like already gone. Is that what you're saying?
I think he hit his freaking hard on the ground where it knocked himself out.
Yeah.
And then by the drugs and stuff, I really think
All the drugs and stuff.
Yeah.
the most.
And I said you didn't see him drinking, but you perceived maybe he was on drugs. Did he ever say anything? I know you said you didn't hear him
No, I
talk,
didn't
but I'm
hear
gonna
him
ask
talking.
anyway.
I just heard smack his hands just a couple times.
Yeah. Okay. Had you ever seen him here before?
No, never.
Okay.
And then Dawn's like, she knows everybody.
Redacted.
Yeah, but keep an eye on that because he said Dawn knows everybody.
Mm-hmm. Remember that he says that Jason looked like he was gone already. Okay, which
Shit. And there was like a couple guys
Yeah.
just holding his arms down. They weren't choking. I just see guys hold his arms.
Yeah.
But he wasn't responding then.
Okay.
wasn't
Even as big as he
responding
is,
then.
That guy could have.
Exactly. And the other witness just said that Jason was wrestling with them and resisting them. And this guy's saying that as soon as he hit the floor, he thinks he might have hit his head because he went down so hard. And he's saying the total opposite. He's witnessing. He's a witness saying that he wasn't resisting, that he wasn't even moving, basically.
Yeah.
wrestled
He also
around
said
the
that he
guys,
never
but
heard
he
Jason
didn't.
talk at
He wasn't.
all, just slam his hands on the bar. So which one is it? Was Jason yelling at this guy and threatening him, or which one was it?
Well, he was definitely yelling before. So I thought he meant that he didn't hear Jay talk.
He said he didn't hear Jason talk at all, just slam his hands on the bar. That's all
Oh,
he said.
okay.
I didn't hear
Yeah.
him talk at all, just
Okay.
slammed his hands on the bar.
That
So
might
which
have
one-
been right. That might have been what he was doing at that point. But we do know that Jason was being verbal, that he was yelling, that he was shouting. We know that because
Earlier in the day. Another witness says the same thing when he comes back. Another witness says the same thing. He was sitting there not saying anything. He was very quiet and angry. That's what another witness says the same exact thing. Until Jay Keeney stands up and goes and gets a hatchet.
Yeah, there's just the witnesses are conflicting with each other. So that makes it difficult to know for sure what was happening in those 7 to 8 minutes. But the one thing we do know for sure is that this person went out to their car, or their bicycle, whatever, motorcycle, wherever he had the damn thing, and brought it back in with intention. We heard that from the other witness, Tori. And now this person's basically saying that he witnessed Jason hitting the ground hard and not moving much and not really resisting. So that means that they did use excessive force to hold him down. Okay, let me put it back. It's not, this is hard to hear, everybody.
When they were
I
on
just
top
think
of him,
once
is
he
what-
hit,
is
I
what
think
you
once he hit real hard, he was done.
said. Okay. All right.
I mean, my opinion.
Mhm.
Not-
I mean,
well,
he,
you're not a doctor.
he wasn't. I mean, he wasn't kicking or nothing. He just like, you know, and that's when they come and handcuffed him and rolled him over. So guys, at least try to do some CPR. And they didn't really know how to. I said, guys, no, you just start pumping on the chest.
Yeah, no doubt.
Did you hear what he said? It's hard to hear because it's so quiet, but he said they didn't really know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, all they have to do is start pumping on his chest.
Mm-hmm. That's not in the written
That's the first
report,
time
by the way.
I ain't never seen nobody argue in this place.
Yeah. Yeah, it really seems after talking to everybody that it's
a
super friendly.
neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
It's a neighborhood bar, you know.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, people from
I'm going to rewind that. It's so quiet. I just want to hear it again. And if it's not in the report, that's utterly crap, because if you're a police officer taking this witness statement and you don't put that in the report, that is a problem. I'm just going to go back a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it really seems after talking to everybody that it's
a
super friendly.
neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
And the older motorists got at least try to do some CPR. And they didn't really know how to. That's the guys know just start pumping on.
I'm going back a little bit more.
See guys hold his arms.
Yeah.
But he wasn't responding then.
Okay.
He says, I see the guys holding his arms, but he wasn't even really responding then. This is his testimony. This is his statement to the officer.
Because he's as big as he is, that guy could have like wrestled around with these guys, but he didn't.
He said, as big as he is, he could have wrestled around with these guys, but he didn't.
I just think once he hit real hard, he was done.
Okay.
He said, I think once he hit real hard, I think he was done.
All right.
I mean, my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he wasn't kicking or nothing. He just like,
he said he wasn't kicking or nothing.
You know, and that's when they come and handcuffed him and rolled him over. So guys, at least try to do some CPR.
He said they came and handcuffed him and rolled him over. And then he said, hey, just try at least and do some CPR.
And they didn't really know how to. That's the guys know just start pumping on the chest.
He said something, he kind of stopped and stuttered, but he said they didn't really know how. And I said, just start pumping on his chest.
Yeah, no doubt.
And her response is, yeah, no doubt.
It's not in the written report.
I ain't never seen nobody argue in this place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kara, can you make a note of this for me, please, since you have the written report out? This is at 6. This is approximately between 6:30 and 6:51. And if you could write that on that report, because we're going to need to include that.
It really seems after talking to everybody that it's super friendly. Uh-huh.
It's neighborhood bar, you know.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, people from, we get some ladies that come in from fly in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they'll pull your Lamborghinis, Mercedes, you know, just to have like 2 beers, they leave.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know, it's just a little neighborhood place.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I gotcha. What about the other male? Had you ever seen him before? The male in his 60s? Never seen him before. Did you notice him before he got into the altercation with the big guy?
I've seen him here before,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but I don't know his name.
No. Do you know like what he drives?
No.
All right, I understand. Anything else you can think of that maybe I didn't ask? Anything pop up in your mind?
No, it just happened so daggone quick.
Yeah, everybody keeps saying that. So I think it was real time, too fast.
Yeah, that I just think I really hate to say it, but I think
lies.
I like the drugs.
Yeah.
Because I guess they say he left and then come back or something.
Yeah.
And that's when Don. That's when he could have went and got some bad shit. Who knows?
Sure, maybe.
Yeah, that's crazy to speculate like that. Just
Well, I appreciate you talking to me.
ridiculous.
Can you raise your right hand?
Yes.
Do you swear and affirm everything we discussed today was the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I
Okay.
appreciate it. We're going to try to get you guys out of here as soon as we can.
Okay, let me hit the end button there. Okay. So again, you've got 2 witnesses, and they have some conflicting statements, right, that they have made. The one is basically saying that he was resisting their restraints and wrestling with them. And then you've got this person basically saying he did not wrestle at all. He said his legs weren't kicking. He wasn't moving. So which one is telling the truth? Because they're one's involved in helping hold him down. One is witnessing them holding him down.
Sorry.
Julie says, I mean, take your time, Kara, take a break. I mean, we do that on Fridays too, but that's, let's see, what are we? Oh, okay. Swearing. Yes, exactly. Okay. Got it. I agree, Kara. Very strange that two people were paying attention enough to see Jason looking angry and pounding on the bar, but never heard him being verbal. Right.
When we listen to Jay Keeney's interview again, Jay Keeney says that he stood up first to tell Jason to shut the fuck up. So I'm sure that's what started the argument. I don't think Jason just looked at them and said, I'm going to kick your ass and then I'm going to kick your ass, because they are the only two people that ever say that. Now, everybody says that he was yelling earlier, I'm the baddest motherfucker around, but not one other person ever says he was pointing people out and saying, I'm going to fight them. Not ever. Yelling, I'm the baddest motherfucker around, I'm the baddest fucking Republican around, is not trying to fight people.
Right.
It is not. They are the only two people that say that. The only two. And I'm sure that Dawn, while she was on the 911 call, does say, oh shit, he's arguing with people, but she's in the kitchen. She didn't see Jay stand up, because he says, I stood up and was told him to shut the fuck up. Well, I'm sure when you did that, that started the confrontation right then and there. You stood up and you acknowledged and you yelled at him to shut the fuck up. I can tell you right now, let me just say this. If I am mad, drunk or not drunk, probably not drunk because I don't really drink, and somebody stands up and tells me to shut the fuck up, I can tell you what I'm not doing. I'm gonna cuss them like a dog. I mean, that's what's gonna happen. So again, half of these people in their audio interviews all say the same thing. Jason was sitting at the bar, kind of they said growling. I don't know. I've never heard Jason growl. I was with him for 7 years. But I do 100%.
He might have just been mumbling to himself. He might have just
Dawn a bitch. Absolutely. Right? I bet he did call her a bitch. But I don't think that he actually went out of his way to yell at, I'm gonna fuck you up and then I'm gonna fuck him up. I don't think that's what he did. It's not even his personality. Do I think that they argued afterwards? Absolutely. And again, I don't condone his behavior. I don't think it's okay. But again, yelling, I'm the baddest fucking Republican around, I'm the baddest motherfucker around, is not means to go get a weapon and attack somebody.
No.
Calling a bartender a bitch is not a means to go get a weapon and attack somebody. I'll call her a bitch again and tell her to come say something. Tell Jay to go get his hatchet. Dawn's a fucking bitch, Jay. Come at me, bro. You know, I can do that. Doesn't give you the right. I bet he doesn't come. You know, he was doing it to be a badass because he was surrounded by his friends. That's what he was doing. It was premeditated. He went and got the hatchet, as he says in his interview, to scare him. He intentionally went and got it to cause fear. That is not stand your ground.
No.
That right there is not stand your ground.
No, it's not. Miss Sunshine says, this is a great point, and we keep hearing he was resisting on the ground, and this guy says he was done for when he hit the ground. Yeah, exactly. That, I mean, this person's eyewitness account of it is very, very important and could be instrumentally important going forward. I can tell you,
I would believe this guy right here over Jay Keeney and Michael Beery all day long, who blatantly lied throughout their whole interviews.
Oh, for sure.
They were blatantly lying.
Oh, for sure. So let's end the night with listening to the lie and how the detective handled it, because we didn't have the greatest audio last time. Let me share the screen one last time here.
I just want it to be known. Oh, we haven't got to this part. There's so much that I can't wait till we get to the responding officer, which I don't know how we're going to do that, because I'm never going to watch the footage. So I don't know how we're going to.
Well, I think how we'll do it is we'll start out watching it next time right out of the gate, and you won't join us, and I'll text you when we're done.
Well, I don't think anybody in the family is going to watch it. I just don't, and I don't know if I really want it put out there just yet.
Well, we don't have to. We can just explain it. We don't have to show it.
Well, that's what I'm I can't wait to start talking about like what the cops did, because nobody, I guess I guess I have pushed, but I haven't pushed on what exactly transpired. But of course, here I am reading the reports while we're listening right now. And Detective Wheeler is lying so severely in these reports compared to the audio. I know it's a summarized report, like he said, summarized, But these are blatant lies in here.
Reports are not summaries. They are supposed to be exactly what you did, what you saw, who you spoke to, what they said. They are not summaries.
The handcuffs were removed, is what Detective Wheeler said. The handcuffs were removed. That's a blatant lie, just so everybody knows. Spoiler alert, they never unhandcuffed Jason to do CPR. Barcher refused to unhandcuff him. He was never able to be given proper CPR because Barcher would not take the handcuffs off of a dead human being. Anyways, but in the reports, it says that he was unhandcuffed and they did CPR on him. That's not true. Just so y'all know.
And
we will
start out. Yes, and we'll start out with that next time, because that's where we're at now in our. We've been trying to take this step by step when we live with you guys to keep you coming and flowing along with everything that Kara has found out and then that she has shared with me. So next week
we'll start with Steve Clement's interview where the bomb was dropped.
Yes.
Steve Clement's interview.
That will be first next week, and then we'll branch into everything that happened. We won't show it to you if Kara doesn't want it shown. I think that's probably for the best. It's not something people need or want to see, but we can tell you exactly what happened. And she's not wrong. These reports they leave out anything that would make them look bad. Anything incriminating has been left out, as you now know that it was left out of her report.
Yep.
Okay, so let me go grab the present screen here again. And we'll end the night with listening to how easily a person can lie to law enforcement.
Go. Lay down.
Gotta go find it again now. There it is. So trigger alert, everyone. This is going to make you frustrated, angry, mad, all of the above. For address, doesn't even know his name. His name is Keeney. If you're going to go interview someone who's a potential witness / suspect, you might want to get their name right.
Keeney, Mike, excuse me. Okay. You're the property owner? Yeah. Okay. Hey, listen, my name is Steve Wheeler. All right. I'm a detective with the sheriff's office.
Sure, you guys have been out here for several things.
Oh, did
you find the guy that's trying to sell my property next door?
No, I know nothing about it.
Twice now, same thing. My driver's license the first time with his picture, and the next time I was from Grand Prairie. But yeah, come on in. How are you?
Yeah, I just need to talk to Jay about
Jay's
something. Okay, cool. How are you guys doing today?
Everything's wonderful.
Outstanding. How you doing, buddy? How are you? I'm good. How you doing? I'm Steve Wheeler. This is my partner, Sean McGuire. You okay? Everything good with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm good.
You're not in any trouble. I'm not in trouble now.
I don't know if you could hear it because he said it quietly. You're not in any trouble or anything.
Well, here's the thing. When people come up, they think they're in trouble. So I just like to put that out there.
Anyway, come, sit down.
All right. Thanks.
You got a bottle of water or something?
I'm good. Thank
I'm
you.
good. Thanks a lot.
Okay. All right. You need me? I'm gonna you need me?
No, we don't. We just need to talk about it.
Okay.
Thank you.
You had the other day?
Yes. I think I know what this is about.
That's okay. What do you think it's about?
He said, I think I know what this is about, he says.
Tell me what you think it's about.
Cabbage Patch.
Yeah. So I'm just going to preface it with, yes, we're here to talk about the incident at the Cabbage Patch.
I'm a little hard to hear. Let him ride.
Yeah, I'm going to let him on.
Just ride.
That's fine. Selling bikes?
No, he just fixed them.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. He could test rides them before he.
You got some nice ones in there.
Okay.
I ride myself. I got an 03 Electric Glide Classic.
Cool.
Yeah. So listen, yeah. So in reference to that incident, what have you heard about what happened?
There was a fight.
Okay.
With a big guy, and they restrained him and choked him or something.
Okay. So, yes, this guy passed away.
Choked him or something. How does he know that?
Veach.
No, it didn't.
Okay, that was his name.
Jason Veach.
Veach with a V. Yeah. So I will tell you right off the bat that his death is not the result of any injuries from a fight or anything like that.
Really?
He was an unhealthy guy.
Why in the fricking frick is he telling him this?
It's a tactic. They said it's a tactic.
Oh, bullshit.
A tactic. I'm sorry. How does Jay Keeney, the first guy to leave the scene, know that Jason was choked or something?
Exactly. And not only that,
I'm sorry, what?
You can't use a person's medical situation as a tactic with a witness. That's utterly insane. Never heard of anything like this. Never seen anything like this before.
Okay. We're still waiting on some things from the autopsy, but I just want to put that out there. The reason why I'm here talking to you today is because, from what I understand, you and Mr. Veach had a verbal, maybe a physical altercation because he was drunk, he was disrespecting Dawn, and sounds like you were standing up for Dawn's honor, and he got wordy with you and physical with you.
Well, he told me he was going to. There's a big guy there. Don't really know his name. He's big as
He doesn't know his name, he says.
He's sitting on the corner, sitting on this corner, and he started with that guy. He said, "I'm not the baddest Republican son of a bitch in this town," and then he said, "I'm going to kick your ass," to this guy. And this guy is sitting to the side.
This guy that he's talking about is who, Kara?
Michael Beery. That he doesn't know him.
He knows exactly who he is.
Well, he slips up. Y'all have listen later on. He slips up and he's like, yeah, well, and then Mike did this and Mike did that. And then he's like, oh, I don't know the guy's name.
Right. The Lio-meter is going off the chart here for the next 3 more minutes.
And this big guy is looking straight forward. He wouldn't look at him.
Yeah.
He looked at me, he goes, I'm not engaging this motherfucker.
The big Jason guy?
No. Yeah.
Oh.
The other guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because I'm not engaging this motherfucker. The guy slammed the goddamn bar. Don wouldn't serve him, I guess. And he just looked at the big guy and me, and I looked away, I looked at the TV, and he slammed the bar and he said, I'm gonna kick your ass.
To you?
I'm gonna kick his too.
Okay.
He said to the big guy, and then he pointed to me.
Okay.
Now keep in mind, Jay is calling Mike the big guy, and everybody else was calling Jason the big guy.
Said, I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm gonna kick his too. And I'm leaving that. Anyway, the next thing you know, the shit was on. And I wound up over by the pool table. He picked me up and threw me.
He picked you up and threw you?
Yeah. And then they were all wrestling on the goddamn floor. And, when I finally got out from underneath the son of a bitch, I said, cops are coming. I'm not staying around to go to jail for some goddamn disorderly conduct or shit.
Yeah, of course.
I've been there before.
Yeah.
So,
I've been there before, he says.
So I bagged it. They
He
were still
bagged
wrestling around on the goddamn floor when I left.
Okay. You know how it is when you talk to a lot of people and you get this story and you get that story and you get all kinds of stories.
Everybody got a different story.
Right. But everybody we spoke to said that there was an axe involved, a hatchet. And when I saw it, it was on scene. It looked like a homemade jobby and it was pretty cool. Was that your hatchet? Did you smack the bar with it? Or do you know where that hatchet came from?
I don't know where the hatchet came from.
Okay.
So right there, he is, well, number one, he's lying, and Detective Wheeler knows he's lying. And so he's purposefully impeding with the police investigation.
Because from what I'm gathering is that based on what I'm getting from the interviews where he was sitting, where you were sitting, and that somebody told me that a guy matching your description came in and just smacked the axe on the bar, basically saying, hey, knock your shit off. And then this guy grabbed you and threw you into the table. Is that true? It's okay if you did. Listen,
No, it's not.
What do you weigh?
170 pounds.
He weighs 311 pounds.
So,
How old are you?
70.
He's 40. You see the difference here?
so that makes it okay?
So I'm not,
I think this is one of his tactics.
you're not in any trouble.
I didn't.
Of course you're not.
Nobody killed him.
Yeah, that's not
That
true.
work. I ain't sleeping 2 nights.
Did you hit him with the axe?
No.
Okay. Then what are you worried about?
The guy's dead. We were in a fight. Wouldn't you be worried?
Well, yeah, yes, you're right. But I just want to make sure if you hit the bar or if you hit him, and if you hit him while he was attacking you, that size difference, I'm sure he would agree, you know, you got to do what you got to do to protect yourself. So that's why we're here. I really want to get to the bottom of this, get the truth, and be able to hopefully put this thing to bed. Okay. You slammed the bar with it?
That's a fool to shut the fuck up.
And that pissed him off even more. Did you take the butt?
So he's admitting to slamming the bar with it and telling him to shut the fuck up. And then Wheeler says, so that pissed him off even more. And then he grumbles, oh, yeah.
End of the axe and hit him with it at all? Not the axe handle, or not the axe side, but the handle side. I can't remember.
When we went to the floor, we might have.
So did you still have the axe in your hand when he grabbed a hold of you? Okay. Okay. All right.
So I'm just, because I wasn't out that night. I didn't go out to this. Just start all over again, because like the part when you told us what happened, you kind of forgot you didn't have the axe.
Yeah, so we'll
So why don't you just start from the beginning?
You kind of forgot you had an axe.
Did you have the tomahawk or whatever it is
Yeah.
on you? When
Yeah, I
you
was
were
going to
already in
sell
there?
it to somebody that
So,
didn't
yeah,
show
just,
up.
if you don't mind, just how that all came about. You showed up with it and you brought it in the bar, and from there.
I just had it in my belt. I was waiting on that guy to show up to buy it.
Okay.
I'm in trouble, ain't I?
No, you're not.
No.
I'm in trouble,
when we're
ain't
done
I?
talking, we're walking away. We're going to get in our cars and
I
drive.
just wanted to know where it came into play. Like,
Yeah.
we know it was obviously there, but like, did you have to go, like, because he was acting up? Did you have to go outside and get it? Did you already have it on you?
Yeah, that's
what
all.
I'm just curious how it came into the bar.
I had it with me.
Okay.
Okay. Because you had it in there to sell it to somebody. Is that what I'm hearing? Okay. All right.
Who's this
So
person?
we'll start from the beginning. I know he came in on 2 occasions. Is that correct? Were you there the first time he was in there?
No.
What time did you get there?
I don't know, but the first time let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
First time I saw him was at Charlie's Corner.
Gotcha.
Came in there, walled in on his bike, and nearly fell down. I thought he was drunk. And he came in, sat there, had a beer, I was ready to go. So I walked out, I was in my van. My van was pointing towards the bar. Parked there by the telephone pole, pulled in off the road. Well, I was ready to go. He was outside at a table, and I went in, took a whiz, and I come walking by him, and he started bad mouthing me.
At Charlie's?
At Charlie.
Oh, so it started over there.
He was
Where's
over
the
there
footage?
wanting to whip everybody's ass, saying I'm the baddest Republican motherfucker around.
Yeah, I heard he was pretty amped
You
up.
know, he's a great big guy. I don't want to fuck with him.
Right, who would?
And I got in my truck, and he was sitting there at the table because when he started pointing and yakking, and they all looked around at me. I don't know what he said. I couldn't hear him because they're like from here that tree away. I'm like, man, this motherfucker's looking for trouble, and I'm not, you know. So I went over to Cabbage Patch, and Dawn was telling me, Dawn and I are pretty friendly, and we talk a lot. Dawn said that this.
So he says that he's friendly with the bartender. They talk a lot. Well, in her first witness interview, she doesn't know who this person was. She doesn't have a clue who he is.
Big guy was in there fucking starting shit with Charlie, drinking his goddamn girlfriend's drinks or some shit.
Yep.
And she told him on the phone or whatever, and he left. And I said, "Was a big guy, black shirt?" She goes, "Yeah, it is." It wasn't 10 minutes later, he came walking in.
Oh, no shit.
Sat down. And I looked at Dawn, and she said, "That's him." And I said, "The same guy go over the fucking corner, starting shit." And couldn't find nobody to take him up on a fight. I can't imagine why. Motherfucker, she was a refrigerator. And then Mike come in, sit down, and the shit.
There you go. Then Mike came in and sat down. So there's the guy. He doesn't know the first part of the interview. Now he knows.
He started up slapping the bar real loud, and I don't want to kick everybody's goddamn ass, and blah blah blah. And tell you all it's true. I was pretty scared that motherfucker gonna jump on me.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Man, dude, I'm gonna slap you in this thing."
So he started. He's at what point did he smash his glasses before he
smashed? He wasn't slapping glasses. He didn't have one. He slammed.
He had sunglasses.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. So there were some broken glasses on the bar. Did you see him like slam his glasses on the bar or anything?
I didn't see that.
Okay. So he comes in 10 minutes after you get there. Dawn says that's one, and he's trying to drink, and she's saying no.
Okay. She went back in the kitchen. I don't even she knew what's all went down, but she went back into the kitchen.
Okay.
To get away from this ass, I'm thinking.
All right. So what started the altercation?
Him.
I get that.
But him like slamming the bar, and he started with that's the other guy. I'm gonna kick your ass, and that guy's a pretty big boy too. And fuck, I don't remember. Next thing you know, we were going at it.
Yeah.
And I whacked the bar. The accident shut the fuck up. Next thing you know, I was under the pool table getting pummeled.
So I bet. So after you hit the bar, what did he do? I just like to be able to write this out.
He leaped on me.
Were you walking away and he came after you?
No, I was pretty much when I whacked the bar, he come off his seat like a fucking spring.
Okay.
Before I knew it, I was fucking underneath him, getting pummeled, and these guys are trying to get him off. And as soon as I got out from under his ass, I said, fuck it, I'm out of here.
Okay. How did you guys go to the ground? Did he fall on top of you?
He picked me up and slammed me on the table, and the next thing we're on the floor.
Okay. Did he throw you to the floor and fall on top of you?
He leaped on me, and we went down together.
Okay, so he jumped on you. Okay.
And where the axe went, I don't know.
All right.
I wish I hadn't had it on me.
You just lied through your teeth for the first 4 minutes of this interview, so I don't fucking believe anything you have to say about how this altercation happened after you swung the axe, Mr. J.
You didn't hit him with it, did you? Doesn't matter. I mean,
I didn't hit him.
It doesn't matter. Is that a tactic too? This is the tactics that you're trained to use here in Florida?
Sharp head.
What end did you hit him with? The handle? At what point did you hit him with the handle?
Right after I slapped the bar and he leaped on me.
Okay.
There. Now he says, right after I slapped the bar and he leaped on me.
Okay.
I'm going to prison.
No.
That's good.
He said, am I going to prison? So he himself is acknowledging throughout this entire interview that he royally effed up and that he's probably in big time trouble. Even he knows it.
No, you're not going to prison.
No, we're going to cover this all up because we didn't do our job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hope you
I
feel
know I'm
better.
involved.
Huh?
I know I was involved.
Yeah.
I wish it fucking hadn't happened. I'm sorry he's fucking dead.
No, you're not.
Yeah. Well, I'm not.
He's the only person though, and I know, Kara, I know you're mad. I know the
No,
family's
he's not.
mad.
He
but-
called him a son of a bitch and an
Yes.
asshole. He's not sorry. Don't say that he means it. Don't say it, because that's a blatant lie. No, he doesn't. You don't call people an asshole and a son of a bitch if they're dead. No, you don't. And you're the cause of their death if you care and you're sorry. He's a liar.
I agree with you, and he is a liar. But I'm just, what I was going to say is that he is the only person in all the witnesses of anybody that actually even said those words. Whether he meant them or not, or he's lying now or not, he is the only person that actually said those words compare, and no one else spoke those words whatsoever.
So what? Steve Clements did CPR on Jason, but then he stood up over him and said, "Not the baddest motherfucker after all, is he?" What does that mean? He did CPR though, so it's okay. I don't care. He doesn't mean it.
No, none of it's okay. I mean, no, of course not. None of it's okay. I still have to take a devil's advocate position on some of it, because that's just what I do. So
yeah,
I've had to do that with Michelle, with looking
it's
for
all right.
Sarah Ebersol too.
I just don't believe him. I
know
mean,
you don't. Right.
If I was to go and beat the shit out of Dawn right now, and I'd been like, "Oh, I'm really sorry it happened," nobody would believe me, because he's not sorry. So glad he said it. It really sounds good on his fake story.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's your fault. I mean, I'm going to tell you the guy was unhealthy.
Ugh.
He's a big guy. So,
Other than this, Charlie.
Again, this is not a tactic.
Reverting back to, this is what he did to me. He's justifying Jason dying.
Correct. And you can't do that. And if they're backpedaling now saying this was a tactic, no, it's not a tactic. I've never, ever heard of police, nor have I ever witnessed it, nor did I myself ever. Would you ever use a person's medical condition as an interview tactic and give out personal medical information? Never, ever, ever. This is utter crap.
This corner, have you ever seen him before?
I mean, I can't ever remember seeing this big guy. But I talked to Charlie, and he said it was like way out of character for him, because Charlie seen him. Obviously, he knows more people than I do, but I never remember laying eyes on him.
Where's Charlie's corner at?
44 and
Samsula Road.
Oh, I know where that's at.
Yeah, it's on the opposite corner. There's a Cabbage Patch.
Yeah, because you just take Samsula over to Pioneer and up, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So 415 and 44. So it's on
It's on the left hand side of the road. If you're going east on 44.
Correct.
Yeah.
Got to go in there to get some pretty good food.
Yeah.
It ain't as rough a place as it sounds like.
No, I'm sure.
Anyway, I knew you guys were coming. So I seen you pull up. I said, "This is that big up there."
Well, I'll tell you, I got a lot of friends, because a lot of people lied to us about knowing who it was.
Say what?
I said, you got a lot of friends protecting it, because I can't count how many people lied saying they didn't know who was there and who was involved.
He can't count how many people lied. And so this has nothing to do with it, but I just had to say this because Wednesdays is about empowering women, and the Angry Bitch Club, and a lot of our victims that we're standing for on Wednesdays are typically women. But in this case, we're standing with Kara, and that's why we're covering Jason's case on Wednesdays, because we're mad and we want to be able to do what we do on Wednesdays. So there are exceptions to the rule of women only on Wednesdays, and this is one of them, because Kara is the victim as well. And I personally cannot stand objectifying women, and both these bars do that. And I'm sorry if you think it's okay, but if you go on to Sorry Charlie's website, you will see that during Bike Week, they had biker chicks there, these women that they bring in, barely dressed. I mean, you might as well go to a strip club, in my opinion. And everybody, to each his own, they can have their own opinions, but I'm not a fan of either one of these bars because of what my opinion is objectifying women and making women less than they are. And that's just my opinion. And I'm going to say it because this is my channel, and it's the Angry Bitch Club.
So, but
Gotta love him.
yeah, I know. But
how'd you find out?
Well,
I knew somebody.
it doesn't really matter. All I know is
I knew somebody was going to.
when you have something like that happen, that chatter starts, man, and then you just start hearing names, and you're like, well, I need to go talk to him, and then that, you know, without going in, that's pretty much what happened.
It's sad. I wished I hadn't been there.
No, I hear you. Yeah, I hear you. So I mean, yeah, it is sad. I mean, he was 40, but like I said,
40 years old.
Yeah, but yeah.
With children and a wife and a family.
That's right.
So that seems to be the consensus. A lot of people said that he was way out of character, that he's normally a gentle giant, big teddy bear. But for some reason that day, he was amped up about something, and he was really out of character. Because I talked to Charlie, and Charlie told me the same thing. He goes, man, I know this guy, and I've never seen him like that. I talked to a few people who said they know him, and they've never seen him like that. He was.
Okay, this is no longer an interview. This is now a chat, and he's sharing things he learned from other witnesses with a witness who potentially could be charged with bringing a weapon in and attacking someone with a deadly weapon.
Well, that was never what Wheeler was going to do.
He was not himself that day. So basically, you were just trying to get him to shut up and stop yelling at Dawn, huh?
Well, when the other guys, you know, when threatening, I'm going to kick your ass. I'm going to kick your ass and his too. And for the right of me, I'll kick your ass and his
You know that
too.
guy?
Yeah,
who's by you?
Yeah.
What's that other guy
Big
that
guy was sitting there?
Yeah, what's his name?
Mike something or another. Anyway.
Mike something or other. So now he's gonna lie again, basically, because just earlier, not even 3 minutes ago, he said it like with confidence, like I said to Mike, like because he knows Mike and he knows exactly who Mike is. They're both regulars. So now he's going, oh, Mike something or other. So now he's completely backing it off of what he's, you know, first he lied, then he slipped up and said conversationally, I said to Mike, and he said it like he knows the person.
In the beginning of the interview, he was just a big guy. He didn't know his name. He says that I don't know his name. He's just a big guy. But then it was Mike when he slipped up and said, oh, with Mike, you know, and now it's, I Mike something or another. I don't know.
Way. He was sitting there minding his own business, and the guy came in, slammed the bar, and started poking him in the fucking arms. I'm gonna kick your ass.
Now he said he was poking him in the arm. There is absolutely no witnesses that saw that. Nobody said that Jason ever got up out of the bar stool.
3 bar stools down. If 4 bars,
and how do you
actually,
poke
it would
someone?
have been 5
Right,
bar stools to him. 5 bars, 4. How was he poking anybody when he didn't get up and he was 3 bar stools away from Michael Beery?
Exactly.
So, makes sense.
Yeah, make it make sense. That's a complete lie, fabrication.
Point to me, I'm gonna kick his too. I'm like, no.
Is Mike a regular?
I see him around.
You don't know his last name.
They knew his last name. They had all Michael Beery's information within an hour of Jason dying.
Big guy.
But he ain't went quite.
Well, he just wanted to know if, I think here he was actually trying to find out if this Jay was lying to him about if he knew Mike or not. So he was trying to get Jay to admit that he knows Mike better than he does, and to see if he knew his last name. That's what he was doing here.
As big as that gate.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, if you can find out Mike's last name, you know, because if this guy threatened you and Mike, you know, you guys were in fear. Probably I would be too, a guy that big. But
he was huge and he was pissed off.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you've seen people really goddamn mad before. He was mad about something. He wanted to break something.
Yeah.
You know, I just wasn't thinking it was going to be me.
Yeah.
Do you have any injuries from the other night?
Not bad enough.
Yeah. I'm going to take pictures of those. Because that's why when I walked up, I knew. And that's why. Are you limping because of that injury or because of that?
Well, I'm 70 years old. I'm beat up. I got a big bruise on my back, a scrape.
Is that from this incident?
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you know? They didn't interview him for 2 days. How did they know where he got it from?
And I'm not trying to be weird or anything, but if would you be willing to take your shirt off so I can take pictures of those injuries on your back and underneath your arm?
If it'll put a cease to this shit and help you get it done, yeah, sure.
Yeah, it'll show that.
It'll show what?
Yeah, it'll show what he's trying to show is exactly what it is. He's trying to build a stand your ground case for a lawyer who's not even involved because they haven't been charged with anything yet.
I would like everybody else.
That's not the police's job, Kara. The police's job is not to build a stand your ground case. That's a lawyer's job.
Remember, he's just a fact finder. But that's what he's doing. He is absolutely, he just said it. Well, if you guys were in fear, he is planting the seed for stand your ground. That's what he needed. That's what he was doing. But I just want everybody else to know, Jason is covered in injuries. He was covered in them. The backs of his legs had injuries. His shins had injuries. His elbows were sliced, were cut. He had contusions on all sides of his head. His eyebrow was split open. His nose was busted. His lip was busted. Jason was covered in injuries. His finger was bruised from the tip of his pinky finger all the way to his hand, was completely solid black and blue. So for them to be like, oh, well, he really hurt me. They hurt him.
Yeah.
They hurt him. The medical examiner, who will probably redact his goddamn statement and say that he didn't say it, told me that Jason's injuries, they didn't come from a hatchet, but they were caused from either hands, fists, knees, feet. That's what he said. That is what caused them. He didn't say, oh, from maybe him hitting the floor. That's not what he told me. He said they were most likely caused from hands, feet, fists, or knees. Jason was injured also. Just because he was 6'3" and 311 pounds and he attacked the guy that attacked him doesn't mean that they didn't hurt him too. But he didn't survive. So therefore, his injuries didn't matter.
That's exactly how it feels. And you have every right to feel that way. And that's exactly how this detective is, this whole interview was done. Because like I said, stand your ground now is not a police officer tactic. It has nothing to do with the police. That like Wheeler said to us in that phone interview that day, I'm just a fact finder. But you're more than just a fact finder. You're much more than that. You're a detective. The cops that come to the scene and interview and secure the scene and collect evidence, they're fact finders. You're a detective. You're there to figure out what really happened. You're much more than a fact finder, and you're a truth finder. And so what you're doing now is trying to build a stand your ground case. That's not your preview to do. Once the charges are filed, right? And once the charges are filed by a DA based on the police reports, based on the evidence, that's the lawyer's job to pull a stand your ground, not the police officer's job ever.
I had a lieutenant, a detective, or I don't know. I'll tell you what she is when I have to find what she is. Like, it's wrote down. She had said something to me that she said, I don't know. It's just what she said. She said a lot of police departments, sheriff offices and stuff like that, they are credited on keeping the crime rate down. Actually, Shira can explain it better than I can. And she said that stand your ground is a very easy way to keep from having a death or a homicide or a murder on your thing, on your, to show like you keep the crime rate down. So therefore, pushing for stand your ground is what a lot of sheriff's offices and police departments want to do. But Shira would be able to explain it better, because I know that her and Jen have definitely talked about it.
The police can't enforce stand your ground law. They can't.
No, I'm not saying they can't enforce it. What I'm saying is that they, to keep the crime rate down, showing it, having it say that with the state attorney saying it's stand your ground. There you go, statistics. Saying it's stand your ground, then therefore there's not a homicide or a murder on Volusia County's record for it, because it was stand your ground. So they can explain it better. I'd have to pull the text message up and read it, how she explained it, for it to make sense. Way better than what I'm doing.
We totally get the gist of what you're saying, is that they don't want to, you're basically saying whenever they have the chance where they can whisper in the DA's ear, we think this is probably going to be a stand your ground case, so you might not want to press charges. Who knows what's being whispered and going on between the law enforcement and the DA, as we've seen in the Karen Reed case, total shenanigans. If they're trying to keep their, like you said, their numbers down of homicides and violent crimes going on in their communities, that they can say, oh, well, this was a stand your ground, it wasn't actually a homicide. But I mean, my jury would be out on that. I just think this case is way more complicated than it ever appeared on face, because I think there were so many egregious errors made by their law enforcement officers, and they are protecting them. They don't.
Absolutely. That's exactly what this is.
Because you've got errors from the second that he wasn't arrested for OWI to the second that there was no CPR and the handcuffs weren't removed.
Correct.
The way they handled the scene, they didn't separate the witnesses. They didn't cordon off in time. They didn't go out and find these people as quickly as they could have, because they knew, they had to have known that some of these people were lying. So you're talking about a lot of things here, a lot of people that could lose their jobs, that should lose their jobs. And so that is why this is happening. I don't personally believe in Jason's case that this has anything to do with statistics. This has to do with covering their assets.
That's exactly what it is. From the responding officer, from Sarah Jackson and Ethan Bartzer, the responding officer, her backup, not rendering, I should say rendering aid to Jason, not helping somebody after somebody else asked you to help multiple times. When somebody has to ask you to help somebody, that's your obligation. You know, your discretion's out the window when other people are coming to you to save someone's life. That's what they were trying to do. And you didn't. To the second that the responding officer arrived, and again, spoiler everybody, refused to do CPR on him. So not only did he refuse to take the handcuffs off, he refused to do CPR. Other people had to try to save Jason, just so everybody knows. And we're going to get to that, because that's where that's what they're covering. They fucked up severely.
We're going to get to that for sure. That'll be next week. And this is a lot for one night. So let's finish with, we're almost done with Jay. Then we're done with him. We won't be listening to him anymore. But I have it all. I have almost his entire thing written down now in my notes. So I can use that for what we're going to be doing in the next month.
Yeah.
And I got a cut right here.
Wow.
From that injury, from that incident?
How do you know?
Tool in my hand. I wish I hadn't had it.
Well, you didn't know this was going to happen. You were just there to sell it to somebody, right?
Well, I'm a blacksmith.
Yeah, it's pretty nice work too. All right, let me see your back. Oh yeah. All right, I got that one.
Maybe when you wield an axe at someone in a bar and hit the bar with it and then literally put it to someone's neck, maybe you should expect that you're going to get tackled and have a few cuts and bruises and injuries.
Sure,
if you able to raise it higher?
Don't know it, they're going to.
And then you have one up on your bicep. Okay. Anything else?
So I just did a cut.
Face injuries, head injuries, anything like that?
I got a knot on the side of my head, but you.
So did Jason.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, so we can see your hand.
Yeah. See if you want to move the Band-Aid.
How long you lived out here?
Huh?
How long have you lived out here?
About 5 years.
Where do you live?
Huh?
Which one do you live at right there?
Yeah.
All right. I'm just going to do
my 52 pan head.
Oh, the bike?
Yeah. That's a nice bike.
We got 52 pan and a 67 shovel. 04 Road King.
Thanks. You think of anything else? Jays, can you raise your right hand for me? You solemnly swear everything you told me is true self to God?
Yes.
Right. No.
Listen, man.
That's the last part.
I appreciate your cooperation. I really do.
I'm sorry.
He didn't cooperate with them. And this is what pisses me off. he should have absolutely scolded him and said to him, I could have arrested you for obstructing a police investigation, for lying to a law enforcement officer. He absolutely should have. If he wasn't going to write him a misdemeanor for that and charge him for that, he should have at least scolded him for what he did the first 4 minutes of that interview, which was lie through his fucking teeth.
Get it. I get it. It's an unfortunate situation.
Yeah.
All right. It really is. But
Do you want my phone number in case you want to?
oh yeah, I had it written down, but that's fine. I'll verify it. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm going to skip that.
Let me know I'm not in trouble. And I know I'm in trouble, but
Well, like I said,
some of this shit don't turn to a homicide.
I doubt it.
2 days.
Do you need anything else?
2 days in, and he doubts it's going to turn into a he's telling a witness / potential suspect he doubts it's going to turn into a homicide, like he's talking to like a friend of his or something.
We can reach out to you.
If I need anything else,
Can we reach out to you?
Sure.
Okay.
You know where I'm at. And you got my phone number. Call me. We could meet somewhere if you want, or you can come by here again.
How many other people live out here? I see a couple different trailers.
That trailer right there is down from Ohio. That little camper trailer.
Like Oktoberfest?
Yeah, they park it there. They're went on a cruise this week, and they're gonna come back and hang out through Oktoberfest and go back to.
How many
Ohio.
acres does he have out here? How many acres does he have out here?
He has 15 acres.
You know, I think it was actually Bud Road. I almost bought property like back in 06. There's still a lot of wetland though.
Right, and you can't
build on it all.
Yeah, right.
That's what it's at.
It's a great, quiet place to live, but you can't say much for this road.
Yeah.
It's a private road.
I got one more question for you. When you were at Charlie's and this guy came in Charlie's and he started on you, was Charlie there? Did Charlie know about that?
No, he started on me outside.
Outside?
And I believe at the time Charlie was at the patch.
Okay. All right. What time were you at Charlie's?
Maybe 4 or 5 o'clock.
Okay. All right.
I'm retired. I don't keep track of time.
Every day's Friday, right?
Either that or Monday.
Yeah. All right. All right, man. You take care, Jay.
Thank you.
So we made it through.
The lies of Jay Keeney.
Yep. That. Oh, wait, I gotta go turn it off again. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, like I said, absolutely inexcusable that he did not give him a harsh talking to about lying for the first 4 minutes of that interview, and that he could have been charged with obstructing a police investigation, lying to a law enforcement officer. He didn't do any of that. It just stunning to me. Shira says, I'm all for Ellie using tactics to get info, but to not use the info for enforcing the law is criminal. That's right, Shira. There are tactics. There's always going to be tactics, and some of it is, has to be done in order to get what you need to get, which is typically you want to get the bad guy. You want to get the person who killed someone or who, unalived someone or whatever they did to that person, to admit they did it or to get enough evidence against them. You're typically not on the side of the perpetrators trying to give them excuse after excuse after excuse for their behavior, and then allowing them to lie to you for 4 minutes, and they're lying the entire 4 minutes. And then I was giving him the benefit of the doubt that he didn't want to go right in with it, and he was waiting for him to tell him the truth. But at the end, I expected that he was going to lecture him or possibly even write him a misdemeanor. Didn't do any of that. Nothing.
Nope.
Bro. It's totally unacceptable.
Per Detective Wheeler's exact words, they did nothing wrong in his eyes. That's what he told me.
Well, even if he thinks that he did nothing wrong, he still lied to him that particular moment. He lied for almost 4 minutes during an investigation while he was being interviewed by a deputy. So if he did nothing else wrong, he most certainly did that wrong. And so that's why this stinks to high heaven, and it's just utterly despicable. Thanks everybody in our chat, in our conversation area tonight, for all of your comments and your suggestions and your opinions. They're always welcome. If you have any questions for Kara, you can email me and I can give them to her. Obviously, most of you all have her contact info, her Facebook. And so we will continue on the journey for justice for Jason Veach and for Kara and for his mom and all of you that are his friends and family that join us live. These are very hard and very taxing to do, but this is our new way of getting justice now, is to make it public, to let people know what's going on, that we are calling out corruption. That's what Social Change Warriors is doing. We are not going to allow police and government to lie to us anymore, to cover for their own bad behavior, because it truly takes a village for us to call this out. This will go on forever and ever and ever, but the more people that are willing to stand up and call it out, the more chances we have to get justice for the victims of crimes where there isn't any. And that's how the social media and the YouTube environment is helping to bring out corruption out into the light where it needs to be. And I'm not saying that this case was originally corruption, but it has turned into it in a sense, because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing now. They're not having any kind of accountability for the mistakes that were made by them or the mistakes that were made by the people that were in the bar that night. When mistakes are made and someone's life has been lost, then there has to be some type of consequences.
I agree.
So thank you, everyone. We appreciate you. Thank you
everybody.
Replay, Kara. Thank you, Kara. I'm just going to give you all just a very brief update on Sarah Ebersol. So give me 2 seconds as we close out. I'm just going to let you guys know that Michelle, her sister, has made big strides in the last 2 weeks. She has created these huge signs that are going up all over the Ocala area and the Reddick area for helping to find her sister. I have have filed a DCF complaint due to allegations of abuse that were brought to me by several anonymous people and non-anonymous people. So none of them were comfortable doing it. So I did it on Cora's behalf. So we're waiting to hear more about what's happening and what that will entail. I had an interview with the detective on the case. Finally, it was very hard to get to him. He's very busy, and I don't know if he was sure how much he wanted me involved in this, but he did call me back, very respectful. We had a nice 20-minute conversation. I was given information that I cannot share right now that made me feel a little bit better about what he is doing and his involvement in trying to find Sarah. Tyrone Mormon is still a person of interest because he is not talking. So if he wants to remove himself as a person of interest, he needs to go back over to the Marion County Sheriff's Department and tell them exactly why he was hanging out at the house that night, what was he doing there. We already have an idea. He was friends with Bubba, with the other gentleman that Sarah was hanging out with that night. And Bubba called him over to hang out with them, and they texted him over or whatever. That's how they have the phone records for that. So we know he was there. We know he hung out with Sarah and Bubba. For how long, we don't know for sure. But we know that based on the other witnesses that he was the one that was to give Sarah a ride home, and most certainly did put Sarah in his car with the help of Bubba because she was somewhat intoxicated. And her phone and his phone are GPS coordinating together. So that is all accurate information from law enforcement. They shared that out again on their Facebook page. So I'm not giving you any information that they haven't given you. What I'm not giving you, I can't give you right now, but eventually maybe I will be able to. And Tyrone will not talk. He will not admit this. His family has steadfastly said that he was not there, that he was never drove Sarah anyway, where that's not what his phone records say. So if you didn't do it, then who had your phone? who had your phone, who drove Sarah, where did you drive her? If it wasn't you, Tyrone, then who the heck was it? Because it is GPS, it is science. Your phone, Sarah's phone, same place, same time, early morning of March 3rd. You know something, or someone who you let use your phone knows something. And it's high time that you come in and tell the truth. It's 2 years that this poor girl has been missing. Her family cannot have a funeral or memorial service yet. They just can't bring themselves to do it. And her daughter is in the hands of a man who has been arrested multiple times, who is her supposedly biological father. We're not even totally sure. I don't even know for sure. I have to ask Michelle if there was ever a DNA test done. But this man has custody. He put his name on the birth certificate. He coerced Sarah into it a year before Sarah went missing, approximately, maybe earlier. I'd have to define that with you when we do our next live with Michelle. But his actions of the last 2 years, prior to the last 4 years and 2 years prior to Sarah going missing, are actions of domestic violence, on and on and on. And that to me is telling. And I believe he was planning this unaliving for a very long time, because he did no longer wanted to have her in his life. He wanted the child to himself. He didn't want to share custody. He's somewhat of probably, and again, I'm not a licensed social worker, but I got my master's degree in social work. I've read a gazillion thousand books about this, and he is definitely a narcissist, a violent narcissist, and a domestic violence abuser, and probably borderlining on a sociopath. That's just from everything I know. And I'll run it by a licensed social worker very soon, who will come on as a guest and tell you that I'm probably right about all these things. He has custody of this child, and there's been multiple reports of abuse going on for the 2 years since Sarah's been missing. So Tyrone, you know something. We know you know something, and we've had enough of it. So come forward. Tell what you know. Tell us what you know about Joe, because Sarah did not just disappear into thin air. You know where she is, or you know who did it, or you helped drive her to who did it. There's no other logical explanations. Your phone is telling us the truth. Joe's behavior for 4 years, not to mention even prior to when Cora was born, his constant abuse of Sarah, his manipulation, his mental abuse, his physical abuse, is telling us the story. So that's that for tonight. It's sickening. It makes me cry many days that Marion County still hasn't figured this out, that they don't have enough to pull either one of these men in and grill them. I mean, what more do you need? You got GPS coordinates. You got years and years of abuse on paper, arrests of beating people up, threatening other women, stalking other women. This is all Joe, by the way, not Tyrone. Tyrone, you got his phone. So when the heck are you going to stop lying? When is somebody going to tell the truth? It's just utterly pathetic and disgusting. And I am mad at Marion County sheriffs. I am. They've been kind to me, the ones I've spoken to, but I'm mad at them, because there's got to be something more they can do. Cora is in the hands of a monster, and Sarah is missing and presumed dead. So something has to give. And Michelle has been working her ass off tirelessly for 2 years looking for her sister. Signs up everywhere, every day. She replaces them because mysteriously they're being torn down. And we know who's tearing them down. She put it all over her Facebook today. You can go to Michelle's Facebook. If you go to our lives that we've done on Where is Sarah Ebersol in our live library, you'll be able to see contact information. Michelle is on Facebook. All you have to do is type in the name Sarah Ebersol, and you will see everything that's been posted about her. So I would encourage you, if you're following this case, to follow. They're literally an hour and a half apart, 2 hours at the most. So we have 2 cases where law enforcement is lacking and slacking, and we need to continue to put the pressure. We need to keep talking, keep advocating, keep standing for victims. That's what we are doing, and that's what I'm doing with you. And I appreciate your help with everything that we're doing for these families. And we'll be back again tomorrow night. We are off. I'm going to visit a friend to watch some March Madness. And we will be back Friday night for a short version of Friday Night Lies, because I will be traveling, but we'll do a short version of Friday Night Lies because there's a lot of updates with the Karen Reed case where there's just so much corruption. It's mind-blowing. You can't wrap your head around the amount of corruption that's going on in Canton, Massachusetts and Stoughton, Massachusetts. So we'll be back. And then coming up, we will be doing an update on what is going on with Ellen Greenberg. Why are we not hearing from this current medical examiner? He certainly has had more than enough time, he or she by now, to go look at this case and rule that she did not unalive herself, that she was indeed murdered. Sorry, YouTube, unalived by someone else. And we believe it was her fiance because the evidence all points there. Tons of it. So we'll be checking in on that. We'll do a check-in about Sandra Birchmore. I'm in touch with Mizzy. She's a very busy lady. She's been the one advocating and standing for Sarah. So I think Mizzy and I are going to try to do a live stream together on everything that happened to Sandra Birchmore. And Mizzy is starting a foundation for and standing for other victims of domestic violence. I don't know what she's calling it yet, but I'm going to be excited to interview with her. She's been a true social change warriors in the Stoughton area. She was the first one to stand out on a street corner with a sign for Sandra Birchmore with the pictures of these horrific, terrible men that abused Sandra for years and years. And she had the guts to do that in Stoughton with a few other volunteers of hers. So you're going to get to meet Mizzy, and we'll talk more about Sandra Birchmore. So that'll be upcoming. And then we will have updates on Suzanne Morphew, still no justice, unalived by, I believe, again, a domestic violence situation. And Suzanne Clark is still missing. Simpson, her body, they have her husband arrested now. They feel they have enough evidence to take him to court, to trial. We'll have an update on what's going on with her and try to help with the advocacy for anybody that may have seen anything of where he might have put her, so that her family can have her back and have they have already had a funeral, but a proper funeral with her remains. And that is where we're at with who we're standing for and who we're advocating for. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate you greatly that you care enough about individuals who are going through trauma and tragedy, that you want to stand with me and advocate for them and raise our voices. And My Life Mattered and Just Us. Those are all of our slogans that we hashtag now, and appreciate you sharing our channel. It helps us a lot. We're approaching 1,000 subscribers, which is a very big milestone. So if you could, again, we're not monetized. We're not asking for subscribers for money. We're asking for subscribers for advocacy, so that all of these people and their families can get the advocacy they so need and deserve. And we would appreciate if you could help share out our channel and get others to subscribe to Social Change Warriors. So again, thank you. These are sad, difficult cases, and I appreciate you standing with me for the families and for the victims. I hope you have a good night, and I will see you back on Friday, where we will go over the more ridiculous and terrible corruption that has happened in Canton, Massachusetts, with the unfortunate death of, rest in peace, John O'Keefe, fellow police officer, and Karen Reed, who we believe was wrongfully charged and is about to have a second trial. The first one was a hung jury. So we'll be covering that again on Friday night. Thank you, everyone. Take care of yourselves. And thank you to everyone in the chat. And I'm sorry if I didn't get to put up all your messages tonight. I really wanted this to be about Kara and what she needed to share with you. And I put them up, but I didn't get to read them all like I normally like to do. So thank you, because we appreciate all your comments all the time. I hope you all have a really great night. I'm just going to play us out with our inspirational theme song, I guess we can call our Social Change Warriors theme song, that our creative department and creative director was able to create for us. And we really, truly appreciate it. Thank you again, everyone. Good night.
They try to silence the truth we shout, but we're still here, we're still calling out. Corruption hides behind a badge of name. We light the fire, expose the shame. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight for every My life mattered is the cry we sing for the ones they tried to bury within. It's just us, we're a movement wide. Together we rise, won't run nor hide. The stories echo, the pain runs deep. For stolen lives we can't just weep. Elected power, but their hearts are cold. We'll bring the truth, let it be told. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight for every voice lost in the night. My life mattered is the cry we sing for the ones they tried to bury within. It's just us, we're a movement wide. Together we rise, won't run nor hide. We're justice seekers, we'll fight the fight. The heroes undo the harm, calling out corruption. We'll stand tall for justice and truth.